Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have the prayer and the pledge by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas.
We'll do the Lord's Prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Please face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas.
Present.
Councilmember Brooke Marcotte. Here. Councilmember Marlon Lewis.
Here.
Councilmember David Broussard. Councilmember Deidre Ledbetter. Here. Councilmember Dee Dee Johnson-Reed. Here. Councilmember Dustin Sweer.
Here.
Great. Item 1, public comment. We have no public comment cards. At this time, I'll remind you to put your phone on vibrate or silent, and we'll move on to item 2.
Item 2A, acceptance of the minutes of September 6, 2022, which will publish on September 21st, 2022.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and a second by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Is there any discussion about our September 6 minutes? Hearing, seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you. 3A.
Ordinance number 2022-19, an ordinance amending approved budget allocations for American Rescue Plan Act funds received by the City of New Iberia, amendment number 4.
I need a motion to open this public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Marlon Lewis and a second by Councilman Dustin Swear. Is there any public comment on this item? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to close.
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and Councilwoman Dee Dee Johnson-Reed. Thank y'all. 3B.
Ordinance number 2022-20, an ordinance accepting the proposal from Pelican Waste and Debris for solid waste services in the City of New Iberia and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all contracts and documentation in connection therewith.
Move.
Need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
So moved by the Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and a second by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Is there any public comment on this item? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte and a second by Councilman Dustin Swear. Thank y'all. 3C.
Special ordinance number 2021-2022-11, an ordinance amending the budget to allocate funding for a National Association of Realtors grant.
I need a motion to open this public hearing.
Motion.
Councilwoman Dee Dee Johnson-Reed and a second by Councilman Marlon Lewis. Is there anyone from the public to comment on this item? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Dee Dee Johnson-Reed, and I think it was Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. All right, thank y'all for that. 4A.
Ordinance number 2022-19, an ordinance amending approved budget allocations for American Rescue Plan Act funds received by the City of New Iberia, amendment number 4.
I need a motion.
Move.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, and a second by Councilman Marlon Lewis. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing and seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you very much. 4B.
Ordinance number 2022-20, an ordinance accepting the proposal from Pelican Waste and Debris for solid waste services in the City of New Iberia and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all contracts and documentation in connection therewith.
Do I have a motion?
Move.
Motion by Councilman Marlon Lewis and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Do we have any discussion on this item?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay, well, I think Councilwoman Marcotte was first.
Okay. Have we established that they have the manpower to take over everything? The bulk waste every week and the trash pickup? Because I'm still struggling in my area with the bulky waste pickup. Large piles are sticking around for weeks on end, and so I just don't know, who do we talk to make sure they have enough manpower before we give them this contract?
Well, I guess it's gonna be me.
Okay.
The owner is here, but I mean, I took the bids, I wrote the specs. We had a meeting with the owner, with 2 or 3 of his staff, with our city attorney, and we went over everything that is gonna be in the contract. The contract comes to y'all at the next meeting, because Jeff is writing the contract right now.
Okay.
They are stiff penalties. There were penalties for every can missed in the proposal, and there will be in the contract. It's $100 a miss.
Okay.
They are adding an additional person besides Kashoni and Tommy to represent us. They agree that they will open an office here. They already have an office on 90. There'll be a call center here. They're doing a website that our citizens can go directly to and actually report things or put file. They still gonna, our jobs are still to handle this and to do this, but it would be nice that we can have a record of it. They are cameras in the trucks, and I think that's huge, because we have had some in the past where, no offense, people will have litter on the ground and the trash is already run, and then they say, well, look at the mess they made, and when you go back, the trash was on the ground before they picked the cans up. There are times that people will swear to us, because I take these calls just like you do, I'll put it out, and then you go back to the camera and they put it out like after the truck was down the road.
Right.
So it'll clear up a lot of things, but I think that's a great check and balance. I feel that having one contractor, it's like when you do a design build project, you got one person to either pat on the back or blame. It's the same thing with this. In other words, we are caught right now, and it's nobody's fault, with a lot of, that's not in my contract. Or, you know, one guy says I do the trash, one guy says I just do the limbs. We have problems that say, well, the limbs are full of trash. Well, and I explain that. I'm doing one contract, I plan on you picking it all up. You can't, I understand if you just go to a C&D landfill and you can't have all that contaminated garbage, but if you pick my garbage up too, well, you know where both of them go.
Right.
So if you know where both of them go and you're set up to handle both of them, I expect you to pick it up. I asked them for some educational pieces. They're not out yet because they don't have the contract, but
Right.
they are putting together flyers that I want to use with social media, and they have the rules. They put together something of kind of rules of what you pick up and what you don't, and I think that's going to fall on all of us to educate people. So I think they're already starting, you know, their due diligence is doing what they said they were going to do. They have the best price. I put it out for bid. I think, you know, we should take the low bidder. They are the low bidder.
Yeah.
They work financially, but there's be an out clause in the contract. And I'll tell you tonight, look at each one of you in the eye. If they don't do it, I'm gonna fire them. I mean, I'll have to. We all have a lot on the line here, and our taxpayers pay for that service, and we get the calls. My office gets the bulk of them, but in one way, no, because a lot of times they call y'all and my office, and so they, you know, because people are frustrated, so they'll double dip. But my office gets a ton of calls. You know, we have to document all of that and handle that. Hillary did that for years. Now Amber's doing it. She's doing a good job of it. So I think we have to give them a try. And they didn't fail yet. You
Is the
know, in other
website-
words, they are gearing up. I think that you give them a shot. But I'm looking at you and telling you, I want a firm contract. I've already had meetings with them. They were very responsive to all my issues. Y'all did a great job, and I appreciate that at the last meeting, kind of saying they're here tonight, and they were at the last meeting saying, here's my issues, here's the things that I don't think are working. So I go into this with a clear conscience that I'm giving you the opportunity, and, you know, if it works, great, and I'm hoping that it does. I'm banking on it that it does, because the price is right, and that allows us to do so many other things that we're doing. But, you know, no offense, but, you know, if I got to fire them, I'll fire them.
Is the website reporting new? That's the first I hear of
That's
it.
going to be new, yes.
Okay.
That's something that is going to, you know, because it could get.
That might be actually super helpful.
I think
to
it will.
all of us.
I really think it will. I think that's
Yeah.
one of to me, the cameras in the trucks, and I even asked them if they would put cameras in the loaders, because the loader's going to follow the truck and they're going to run around. Remember, they're picking up every week. That is the other thing that is the biggest plus of all of this, because that's going to stop people from piling other stuff, and it's going to make our city look cleaner, you know, from day one.
Right.
But again, I have a motive to that of, okay, it's all yours. Now you got to pick it all up. Anyway, that's kind of the overview, because y'all need to know that, of
Right.
the meeting that we had. Jeff has, you know, made notes, and we've been talking back and forth about it, and he's making sure that all that gets in the contract. And I'm not blindsiding them. You know, we did that together, that they know exactly what they're getting into.
Okay.
Ask me anything else. That's kind of, I know it's a long answer, but y'all needed to hear it
No,
all.
we
you
need to know all of that, so
Yeah, you
thank
do.
you. Appreciate
You
it.
do. You want to go? Okay.
So we're gonna have some
Councilwoman Keating-Johnson
milestones, milestones set up in the contract where we review their performance? I mean, what's the first milestone for reviewing of their performance?
Number of misses, that's why they're $100 a piece. So the very first thing will be missed cans or not replaced cans when they're broken, missed piles of trash. In other words, we
But
have a
what's the
system to
number?
document that.
What's the number for us to say, well, you've gone and you've caused us a major problem? Do we have a number that they have to get? What do they have to hit for us to say, you're not succeeding, you're not performing? I'm just looking for.
I understand. I
Yeah.
thought I would start at $100 a pop. I have an out clause that I can say it's not working. So I thought I was better. I don't want to say that it's, you have, we're just going to pick a number, okay? You got 500 misses and I'm firing you.
Right.
Because maybe, what if at 400 misses, and not that that's going to happen, but what if at 400 misses I say, oh, you got to go. In other words, I didn't want to limit myself. I put a monetary penalty for each miss. I'm tracking each miss, and our program, we're even looking at how we could update it because we track missed can pickups, but I don't know that we were tracking missed piles. I mean, if y'all called them in and I called, and I mean, they've had their contract since Gordon left, a year and a half ago. If I call and say, Tommy, Kashoni, you missed this, you missed that, they do go pick it up.
Right.
But we have not been tracking those piles as much as we were tracking the garbage cans. So my thing was I don't want to limit myself to say, here's the number you got to get to. I like the monetary thing because that woke people up. When you call somebody and say, I'm not paying you $3,000 because you missed, X amount of cans, that gets somebody's attention.
Okay.
But I didn't think I would put an actual dollar amount, but Jeff is working, and they were very smart. He wanted out clause too. Of course. So I think it works both ways, and we giving each other a chance. He does know what he's getting into because he's done it in a whole lot of the communities. For us, this is the first time in, I don't know when. We never had one contractor doing everything. It was always, the last 20 years, it was Gardens and Republic. So I think this is an opportunity to maybe cut some of that finger pointing and cut some of that, it's not my contract.
No, and I get that, and I understand. I think that's the right thing
I'm
to do.
bringing the
but
contract next meeting.
Right.
You will get the contract in your packet before the next meeting. And if you got some ideas, any of you, I mean, if there's something we need to add in there, I don't have a problem looking at it. And Jeff's right there. We'll run it by him and see if we should. But I never normally bring contracts back to y'all. What always happens is y'all give me the authority to negotiate and initiate the contracts. This was one that it's all on the line for all of us. This is something that, if it goes well, nobody's going to call and thank you. But, boy, if it goes bad, everybody's going to call. So that's why I want to bring the contract back so that you all are comfortable with what we're signing.
Okay.
So, you got any more ideas? Bring them
I'll
on.
look at it and, I have some suggestions.
That's fine. No, that's what we need to do. And the reason we succeed and we don't shoot at each other and haven't in the 5.5 years that I've been up here is because we communicate and we do it as a team. So I'm all for that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think in Dee Dee's suggestion of a performance clause, I think the ultimate performance clause is their due diligence and their public perception. I mean, if they don't do a good job, the public is gonna bark, and that's gonna be the ultimate, telltale if whether they're gonna work in our community or not. So I think they deserve a chance. I think they're a reputable company, and I think the cost is fair to the community and the taxpayers, so I'm willing to give them a chance and support them in any effort we can to make it work for our constituents.
Yes, sir.
I just like the fact that, because I know in this business, what I've learned in the last 5.5 years is about relationships and building relationships.
100%.
I like the fact that we have a relationship with, some of the people that work there. They know some of our problems, they know some of our concerns. That's big for me, They even know some of our constituents by name and address,
True.
because of some of the complaints I've brought to them.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
It's true, could you go by Miss So-and-so house, you remember the house I told you about? And that kind of stuff. And I like that, so again, they had the lowest bid and, and ditto what you said, absolutely, absolutely. They got a tough job,
They do have a tough job. Yeah,
and we're the oversight for that,
and
so,
we all.
I hope they do well, because if they don't
Oh,
succeed,
we don't succeed. Oh,
we don't succeed.
no, we don't. Oh,
I remember garbage. I was a little boy. My grandfather was on this council and they had BFI. I remember garbage being an issue 35 years ago. It always has been an issue in the communities. Watching my grandfather deal with that, it's always been an issue. So you know, it's gotten much
It's
better.
a messy business.
Over the years, everything we've ever had to deal with as a community has gotten better. But like you said, they don't call us and say how good things have gotten.
No.
So,
Anybody? Yes, sir.
The contract has a penalty clause in there. They have to set up a website for us to use and for the public to use for complaints. So that's in the contract. We have the right to terminate it if they breach it. We have a performance bond, so we have a bonding company that's gonna stand behind them doing what they're supposed to do. I don't know what else we can do. I don't think we're saying that we're gonna review this contract from time to time. It's a 10-year contract. And I'm unclear, are we gonna approve, are we gonna authorize you to sign this tonight? Is that the?
Yeah,
ordinance?
what we would do is approve the ordinance tonight, so now we all know we are entering into a contract with Pelicans. Then I was gonna bring the contract put in the packet, bring it to the next meeting, just so everybody could see it and feel comfortable, and if they had some suggestions that were, everybody wanted to do, we add it in. If they don't, they don't. But that way, everybody knew the tools we had to deal with, because that's part of the issue with something like this is if my council doesn't realize what tool we have in that contract, then you can't use it, or you don't know about it. So to me, that was my main thing, was to say, I think we have everything we can put in it, but I want them to feel comfortable with
We
it.
have a lot of tools, but we put out specs.
We
And the
did.
bid came back on those specs, so we're not gonna.
And
go
I
back
had
and
put
redo the whole
the
thing.
specs in the specs, I had put penalties and put all that in there.
It's all in there.
Because I knew we needed it. What I did was look at about 5 different communities and see what they did, and I talked to a couple of mayors and said, okay, help me make sure I have all the tools.
And then a few little Easter eggs in here. There are a few little surprises,
Yeah,
things covered that weren't covered before.
yeah.
Well, I'll say that this is, it's not that we don't want to give them a chance, we definitely want to give them a chance. This is, however, one of those contracts that it will touch every citizen in New Iberia.
Every week.
And so, exactly, so, if we don't do this well, then we have an opportunity to have 28,000 people calling us saying, this is horrible. So we just want to make sure it's buttoned up and that we all feel comfortable with the terms of the contract, so that we know exactly what's in it and what we can and cannot do for the customers when they call us. And then we want to make sure that we have a good relationship with them so that they know what the contract says, we know what it says, and we're not asking them to do things that they're not supposed to do, that we're all kind of aligned.
Yes,
And,
I agree. Yeah, and that way we're not, because the knife cuts both ways. I don't want to abuse them either,
Right,
So,
we
that's fine.
absolutely don't want to do that. I want to be able to tell the customers, hey, guys, we don't do that.
And we have had to, in many occasions with all of y'all and myself, there's been a lot of times that we have had to say, that's cut in way too big of pieces, or your tree man should have held it off, or I go look in the piles full of all kind of the crazy stuff, and I'm like, I don't know where those tires came from and the rest of this stuff, but I can't pick it up.
Right.
Anyway. Anybody else? Good discussion.
no solution for tires, huh?
Spend money. I mean, all I got for tires is that Joe runs around and picks them up, and we trying. And the big solution is when we get crime cameras, we're gonna find out who's dumping all those tires, and we're gonna bust them. But until that happens, I haven't found a way to catch them, and the tires are expensive.
But they are going to pick up the 5
Yeah, put in the
Tires.
contract 5 tires per house.
per household every year.
Yes, yes.
Hear that, everybody?
Yes.
You can put 5 in your yard once a
Once
year.
a year. Once a year, though. Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Collection's gonna be on the same day, or is the schedule gonna change?
I had asked that question, and I'm pretty sure, as I understood it, it stays the same. Yes, sir.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would be a big, and I have one question if I can ask, do you, cans, once we have the contract, then you figure out what you're doing?
Yeah,
Good,
we're gonna,
good.
There's whatever we had talked about, but
That's fine.
there's a lot of cans that are gonna be replaced.
Okay.
So,
All right, and he does have the trucks, just because someone had asked me that last time, I forgot to mention, he's already got the 5 trucks. And he has 2 rear loaders?
2 boom trucks.
2 booms.
5 railroads and a recycle.
Yeah, yeah, oh, and the other thing I wanted to tell y'all, the recycling truck is marked recycling, so we will no longer have people saying constantly that they're picking up the recycling with the same truck and they're not recycling it. So there'll be a truck that is marked recycling. I thought that was important to talk about, because I do get a lot of calls of people constantly saying that, you know, this provider is picking it all up in the same truck and they're not recycling.
So are we picking up recycling once a week or every other week like it is today?
Same thing, every other week.
The recycling stays every other week because people have to build up enough. So
Okay.
it's the yard waste every week, it's the trash every week, and it's the recycling every other because there wouldn't hardly be anything in the can. We probably have 20%, 25% participation.
Okay.
So.
The kid's raising his hand.
I just wanna
You want to come up? I mean, we talked about it to death. Let's knock it home. Yeah, introduce yourself and.
Roddy Mathern, I'm the CEO of Pelican Waste, part owner of Pelican Waste, and so we're gonna come in here. We're gonna pick up with rear loaders with a guy in the back of the truck. So the debris, we were picking up every week, and the way I think it was started, maybe there were some confusions on when they put the pile out or how long it's been. But what we're gonna do with rear loaders, when we dump the can, if they have a little bit stuff outside the can, 2 cubic yards or whatever, that is gonna be picked up with the garbage as well. So most of the times there's boxes, bags. I think right now your current hauler just dumps the can with an automated truck, and then anything on the side, we're gonna collect that as we go each week. And trash will be collected once a week instead of every other week.
Okay,
So just kinda want to clarify that to you.
that's great.
So, and let me tell you one more thing with the penalties. We have 2 contracts, one in Harrison County that we do bulk waste, and in Terrebonne Parish, we do the combination, we use rail loaders, and we have heavy penalties. We don't have a 24-hour grace period. If we don't get it done, the camera system that we talked about, I don't have them in the boom trucks, but they are gonna be installed in the boom trucks, but I have them all in the rail loader trucks. I can send you a video clip if somebody calls. If it's consistent, the same person, we can geo-fence that area. That way when that truck pops up there, and we'll develop a hot list if it's the same. But occasionally we've called where people call, the can went out, we showed up at 5 a.m. and the can was out, and then maybe 7 o'clock in the evening or whatever, then go time to work, that's when they put the can out. And the way we turn cans around when we do in rear loaders, and I think that's where it confuses people, because we'll dump the can, we'll turn it sideways, and we close the lid back. And I think people rolling out the cans in ours, I'm not gonna say there's never gonna be any complaints, but, and I give the contract that we had in Terrebonne Parish, the provider that was there before had like almost $200,000 of fines in the 4 years, the 3 years they've been there. The other contractor had $75,000 to $80,000 of fines, and we barely reached 10,000 of fines in over 5 years we've been there. So it kind of give you that. But we do get fines, and we understand. But if you look at that large amount, that's a huge difference. So again, we locally own and locally operate it, and Tommy lives not far from here. Kashoni lives not far from here, and I'm about an hour and a half from here. So I appreciate all of y'all, but my commitment to y'all, I've worked a long time. I've been in the waste business for 40 years, so I worked hard to get where I'm at. So I appreciate y'all giving us the opportunity.
So,
Thanks.
quick question on the website. Will your call center that's here, are they gonna man the website?
The website is gonna be manned, and it's gonna go, that email, whatever email is gonna go, is gonna go to a dispatch, where it's gonna dispatch the job. But we're gonna have, the call center here is gonna be, what we have is, our dispatch emails, it goes out to all our dispatch, regardless
Okay.
what yard they're in.
Okay,
It goes out to all our dispatch, because it's dispatch@pelicanwaste.net. It'll go to every dispatch we have. Also, it even goes to me. Be honest with you, I take every email, that's why I take it serious. I probably get 300 emails a day, and I probably spend half of the night looking at those things. So I do take them serious. I'm the one that after 6, 7 o'clock are answering most of the emails or Facebook messages. So
and one thing that I would set up on the website is make sure you tell people how quickly you're gonna respond. You get 24 or 48 hours to respond to them, because if not, they're gonna expect you to respond like in 30 minutes.
correct.
So
I
that'll be
agree.
important.
I agree. You're right.
Good point.
Yeah, I ran a
You know,
call
that's a
center
good
before, so
point.
I know.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
Okay.
A question.
Yes, ma'am.
with your, say your yard waste, some people bag the leaves and branches and stuff like that, and you'll pick that up.
Yes.
Some
So-
people want to put them in a can that's not one of the
we will pick
regulated
that up.
cans.
That's correct.
And how about just putting it on the side of the road? So
They put it
all
on
of
the side
that,
road, that will be removed as we
Okay.
go. And that's why it's good to have one contractor, because it's always a fight between the two. Who's responsible for it? And I just see it all the time, so, but yeah, that will be collected on the way. And if you have a problem, if you need us to send a video clip, or we can do that as well, you know.
Can I ask one question? You just made me think of something. Okay, so, with the yard waste, do you pick it up when it's like on that person's property? Because now we have, like, I normally put mine on the side of my house.
It's gotta be curbside. We can't go on private property because of,
Well, I have sidewalks on both sides, so where do I put it? Because I
well,
have
I mean,
sidewalks.
I say curbside, but as long as it's reachable, you know, it can't be from here maybe to the front door of your house or something like that, because what can happen is if we go on something we pick up,
Bricks on it.
customers just say, hey, we picked up, I had one incident where we brought a new can and supposedly this guy put his weed eater in the can and we picked up the can. It was a handicap service, let me just say this, and we picked up the can and we threw his weed eater. So that's why we gotta be careful of going that far in the yard.
Okay, it's just that those of us who have sidewalks now,
I mean,
hard to
look,
know.
they're
You
gonna
just
go
brag.
out.
no, I'm not bragging.
Look, they
I
gonna
love
go-
my
they gonna be
sidewalks,
on-
however, I do want my, because I have some trash that's been sitting there for a few weeks. But I thought maybe they didn't pick it up because it's on the other side of the sidewalk, closer to my fence.
And look, and we may have instances like that, and I've seen that before in other contracts, and we look at the clip. And, you know, when we tell these guys curbside service, sometimes they think if it's on the other side of the sidewalk, they shouldn't walk there, they should,
Okay,
so.
all right, I just want,
We'll
just for my
correct those.
neighbors and all of
Yeah.
those guys to
Yeah.
know that's how you handle it.
Unless your sidewalk's 30 feet back.
No. But there's no,
But
like
no,
on
look,
Dale Street
most of the
side,
time, the
there's nothing.
sidewalks right there is usually still, you know,
Okay,
parish
I'll put it a little
property or
closer, I
something.
just don't
Yeah.
want anybody to say, oh, I walked near there and all those branches
Well, you don't
scratched
want-
my leg.
Yeah, you don't want to put it on your sidewalk. or
Right.
You may have just a little grass area that between, so we do understand that.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
All right. Any other discussion?
I have a question.
Yes,
So,
yes, sir.
Tonight, we're gonna authorize this contract.
Yes.
And if council members have questions about the contract or suggestions or whatever, they can talk to you about it. But we're not gonna vote again, right?
No.
No.
We were just going to review the contract and, you know, have a discussion about it so that if we needed to tweak something, we could.
Okay, so that means we're not signing it until we've had this, we've seen it.
Yeah, my plan is you approve it tonight. They know they get in the contract. They can start taking their steps, and they already are. And then I would bring the contract back at the next meeting, and then the Wednesday, I mean, because I don't want to run out of time, the Wednesday, and I got to make sure that's okay with them, but the Wednesday after our next council meeting, that morning, I'm going to sign the contract. If I got
Okay.
to tweak it or whatever, we will, but, you know,
Yeah, but we're not gonna vote again on it.
no.
Okay, we
No,
just-
because I think once you vote to approve it,
we just
I
need to-
did
yeah,
everything we're
yeah.
supposed to
So
do.
please, get your comments in early.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we get it before the next
Anything?
meeting?
Well, I'll give it to you as soon as we have it. I don't see why not.
Okay,
I would like to speed
Email it,
that up. I'd
whatever.
even thought, Roddy, if I get you the contract, the council's gonna look at it at the next meeting. You're approved tonight that we're gonna enter a contract. Time-wise, is that good enough? Am I jamming you up?
Tonight, you know, we'll start getting, you know, we'll go from there. I mean, signing the contracts, just,
Okay, because we won't sign the contract till after the next or if I needed to call a special meeting, but you okay with that?
yeah.
Question, Fred.
Okay, yes, sir.
So Jeff, in regards to what you said, we're gonna vote on it tonight, but if some foreseeable future, the council member has a recommendation and the contract gets amended, now we gotta vote again. That's what I'm telling you. So we gotta make sure we're gonna do this right. Cause I don't think we can amend the contract once we voted tonight, cause then it's an amended contract.
Well, actually, you got specs out there.
Okay.
And they bid on those specs, and that's the contract. You know, we can tweak it, we can clarify it, we can
Yeah.
do stuff like that. But
I
basically,
more
that's-
thought it was we were kind of going over it. I more
see.
thought
If we
it was
vote
to
on it tonight, I'm
educate
good.
everybody
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
knew
Yeah.
what we would do.
You know, if the mayor wants to You're trusting, you're authorizing the mayor to sign the contract, and then you're saying we're gonna have some comments for him or whatever.
That's fine.
But it's not coming back before the I just wanna clarify that.
That's
because-
perfect.
Because the ordinance says it's approved. Right.
Yeah. Is everybody cool with that? Well, in one way, Jeff brings up a really good point. I wrote the specs already, and that's what the man bid on. I do see that, I can't, I'm not trying to, but I can't bait and switch my contractor
No,
that, you
no.
know.
I don't think anybody has a problem with what they bid on. I mean, because
Yeah.
that's all the things we would love to see in the
When we
contract.
talked about it.
Right.
That's when I put the specs together, we had some discussions, and I listened.
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know, I'll just speak for
No,
my
that's-
own behalf.
that's fine.
But, it's just a little unnerving to approve a contract you haven't seen.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I know we've talked about it.
And you do
so-
that,
And I,
and I thank you for it, but they've done that for the last 5.5 years. I mean, everything that comes before us, I'm authorized to enter into the contract after the council
well, we see
approves.
contracts in here all the time.
You see the AIA one for the architecture, but that's it. I don't think you see them all. I mean, I don't care. You're welcome to see anyone you want, but I don't know that I bring every
mean,
contract I enter
We don't
into.
just see AIA though, because I've seen other contracts. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I'm just, this is such a big one, and we're all,
It
I
is.
mean, we're
That's why we're
stepping
talking
into
about
it.
it.
So it's just,
Yeah,
I don't know, a little unnerving.
I understand. Jeff?
Yeah, the big ones come up usually two ways. They're either bid or there's an RFP. And in each case, there are specifications that are prepared and given to the contractor. And then the contractor says, for that package of obligations, I will bid this price.
Right.
And that's what we do. And those generally don't, the final contract doesn't come back to the council. The
Yeah.
council says, based on this response to this bid, we accept the deal and the mayor's authorized to sign the contract. So the terms are pretty much fixed. And that's the way it has to be done.
Like I said, I wanted the discussion so everybody knew the tools in the toolbox,
Yeah.
which also
Great.
included the public. We would know and the public would know.
And there's some good tools in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I trust you guys. I'm just saying.
Hey,
I
look,
like
I love
looking at
all this.
contracts.
I
That's
can
why
say the
we-
specs are good because I didn't write it. Y'all did that.
Yeah.
Whoever did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So yeah, I was under the impression that we were voting tonight on this contract, and after it was voted, you were signing it and it's going through.
Yeah, I just wanted one extra step that I brought it back, just because I wanted to have a discussion of the tools in the toolbox.
Okay.
I felt like I
That's
was
fine
taking,
if you
I felt
wanna-
like I was taking an extra step because this is really important. This is for 10 years and,
We definitely appreciate that because this
well,
is
no,
a
I
big
mean,
one.
it's a lot of money. When you figure what that contract is over 10 years, it's one of our biggest contracts.
Yes.
Right. That's why when we discussed it last meeting
Yeah.
and we said what we had to say and we're here tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff, and you have told us everything we need to know. I mean, I'm under the impression we just vote on it and they roll with it. So, thank you.
Sure.
Man,
Yes, sir.
is it fair to say the next meeting is gonna be for information purposes to the public?
To ourselves and the public. That's the way I'm looking at it.
That's a good way to
There's
put
a
it.
way to say, Yeah. here's everything we got, here's the tools, here's what they do, here's what they don't do, here's what happens if they don't. We already kind of discussed it, but having it in front of us spurs better discussion. So that everybody knows that that's what's included. Because again, I got to protect them as well too. They gave me a good price. I
Right.
want to do business with them. I think they're going to do a good job. And so it's a give and take thing of everybody understanding, what we're getting into. That's all. Any other discussion? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you very much. All right, where I'm at, 4C. That was a lot of discussion.
Special ordinance number 2021-2022-11, an ordinance amending the budget to allocate funding for a National Association of Realtors grant.
Do you have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by, everybody's like stuck. Councilman Marlon Lewis and Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed.
Trying to let Marlo win sometimes.
Is there?
Yeah, we're waiting for quick draw McGraw over there.
Yeah, he's doing that before I can finish my sentence. Is there any discussion on this item? This is that little small grant that we're doing with the Realtors Association. Anybody? Then, yes,
We we granting the realtors?
They giving us some money. They're giving us $5,000 and another 500, and then we're putting up a little money, and it buys some benches and does some things in the parks. In, downtown at George Rodriguez, I think, and along the walking trail.
Mostly Main Street area, sounds like?
Yeah, they came and that's what they wanted to do.
Okay.
They basically came and said, we would like to, we didn't really finish George Rodriguez Park, if you look at it. There wasn't enough money when it was time to do the museum and the park, and so the park was the smaller project, and a lot of things that were on that plan didn't happen. And so we have a little money, not much, but a little money in this budget to do a few things there. The realtors stepped up, and so that finishes kind of some of the stuff that just doesn't look like a park yet. And when they offered it, we were like, man, why not? Those benches are not cheap. Any
We
other
take one, put it by West End, we lost one.
Where it went? Lost
At
one.
in front of West End?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll get you a bench.
Thank you.
Well, we have money coming with the parks that we really are blessed to have, so we'll find a way to get a bench. Any other discussion? Then please vote your machines. Thank you. All good? That was good. All right, resolutions, 5A.
Resolution number 22-197, authorizing the mayor to execute the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness expedited temporary housing assistance waiver.
Do you have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Brooke Markcott.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Deidre Ledbetter. Is there some discussion on this item? And I'm gonna let Jeff go first, because we need some discussion on this item.
Yes.
Yeah, my recommendation is we not do this yet.
All right?
And let me tell you why. The Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, called GOSEP, has a temporary housing and shelter assistance program. And that program applies when there's a nationally recognized disaster, federally recognized disaster, and GOSEP people come in with a housing program for temporary housing for people who are affected by that. And this housing would be housing that would be right next to the person's residence. So it would allow some things we don't allow now. Mobile homes in area we don't allow mobile homes, campers we don't allow, in areas where we don't allow campers to be used. This program is brand new. It was just adopted. The request was that public bodies opt in or opt out by September 1st, which we didn't even have it till last meeting, and that was after September 1st. There is a website that GOSEP has for this. There is a Zoom meeting that was done by Casey Tingle of GOSEP, and it was a room full of people, including Press Marshal from Iberia Parish, who talked about it. And a lot of people had a lot of questions. There are rules that are going to be adopted to implement this thing, and they're not adopted yet. But in general, the questions had to do with if the municipality does not if they don't waive these requirements, is the parish eligible for the benefit? And the answer is yes. If the city does not waive the requirements, is the city eligible for the benefits? And the answer is no. If the city doesn't waive the requirements now, can it come back and waive the requirements later? And the answer is yes. They don't have the rules made yet, but they think they're probably going to take care of the municipalities and parishes first that executed the waivers first, but they're not really sure. One of the questions was, if somebody opts out of the program to waive these requirements that would allow things we don't allow now, how long is that going to go on? And what they're saying is they haven't made the rules yet, but they're thinking every September 1st, they'll look and see if the local public body is going to allow the trailer, the camper, or whatever to be used, to continue to be used. But as of this time, they haven't made the rules up yet. They're talking about what they're probably going to do, but they haven't made the rules up yet. I think the parish has adopted an ordinance that I'm waiting on a copy of that would allow parish government to waive this later on, but they haven't issued a blanket waiver at this point, as far as I know. So I don't think we ought to issue a blanket waiver because we don't know exactly where this is going to go. and because I think we have the opportunity to do this later when we know more about it. So my suggestion is we not execute this thing now, because this is a blanket waiver of land use restrictions that would allow, under certain circumstances, campers, trailers, little manufactured homes, whatever they're gonna call them, to be used as residences where we don't allow that right now. So we don't have to do this now. It's not clear what it means. I don't think we ought to take this step yet.
So will we table it?
You could table it. If you know when you're gonna bring it up, you could defer it. Somebody could withdraw their second, and it could die for lack of a second.
I withdraw then.
Or you could table it. And if you withdraw the second, I mean, Councilwoman Ledbetter is an excellent parliamentarian. I think she's gonna agree that that's how you would not take action on this.
Okay, that's a new one.
Withdraw the second.
I've tabled, I've deferred. I never had somebody withdraw. I don't think we ever did that as a pro tem either. Huh. Okay, so does that stop discussion on it? Because I don't have a
For
second.
now, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Vote, it's for no vote.
And I'll get a copy of what the parish did, and I'll give it to you.
okay, good. I would like to see, just so we know. Okay,
Can I,
so I have to announce that,
Dustin has a quick.
we
can
don't
I
have,
actually,
I have to
can I ask him a
announce we don't have a
question?
second.
Right.
So the motion dies for lack of a second.
Okay.
Is that,
I had a question just to ask.
goes
you.
in
oh, okay, that's fine.
You mind if I ask him a question? So if we don't do anything here, and Iberia Parish government does,
Actually, you can't.
I don't think
so
you're supposed to be talking.
You
I thought you were gonna ask a question about.
If you withdraw
about-
the second,
You
discussion
can't ask that
cease.
question. In other words,
that's why I wanted to ask him.
yeah, you
But
can't.
fine, we'll just,
I thought you were asking a question about the fact that she pulled the second.
oh, no,
But
I'm
once she does
asking.
that,
You
the
can't.
plug is pulled. Sorry.
You can ask him afterward.
Yeah, ask him after the meeting,
ask
but
him after
really,
the
I mean,
meeting,
it's
I think
by the
that's-
rules, you can't.
I think I answered.
You did answer that
Okay.
question.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
So we're reading his mind, and we think we answered the question.
Okay, well then that's good. So, we done on this issue, we can move into the next one.
Right.
Okay, thank y'all. 5D.
Resolution number 22-201, awarding contract to Southern Constructors LLC for the City of New Iberia concrete repair project and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte and second by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Do we have any discussion? This is the next part of our street project. Any discussions?
When do we start?
Comments? Come on up and let us know. Well, this gets the ball rolling. These are our concrete streets. This is, I think, $6 million worth of work?
No, this is the 3 million.
The 3
Well,
million.
it depends what you decide to execute. If you're just gonna execute the base bid, which that's our recommendation to you.
That was
We have one
3.
alternate,
3 point something, you're right.
but
You're
because
right.
the bids were over budget just by a little bit.
They weren't bad, though.
It's still within, you're still within your overall, committed dollars. You're under your committed dollars for your bond issue.
Yeah,
So you
good.
have the room to do this, but
Good.
it's a 3.137 million.
All right.
So it's 3 million, the asphalt's 6.7 million.
That's what it is, yeah. And I add them together and I'm
Together, you're
still,
just under $10 million in
That's fine.
physical construction dollars.
good. And we will hold there. We bonded out 12.5, we all know
Yeah.
that. We'll hold there and get these projects done and make sure we don't have a lot of surprises because remember with engineering projects, it's all unit cost.
price.
So when they run into bad soil, when they have to add salt cement, when they have to bring in other products, it's all by the quantities. So I wanted to have a safety valve that I didn't get to the end that we were at our final stage of the project and suddenly we didn't have enough money.
And you do get to the end of these projects, you have the ability to add.
Yeah.
We have alternates that were bid, we can give the contractor.
exactly right.
And you can pick and choose, add one if you have the funds to do so.
And hopefully our little, not a new tax, we'll talk about it later, that comes in November that would allow us to do a bunch more roads so we don't have to quit. Anyway. Cool. Any questions or comments?
Your question is when they start?
Yes,
It's typically
always.
within,
That is always your
by the
question.
time
It
you get
is.
through
I'm
this
impatient.
process, we're about 60 days.
Okay.
To do the contracts, get everything back and forth between the government and the contractors, do the pre-construction, and then they mobilize. We pretty much tell everybody 60 days. So
Okay.
we're looking beginning in November, mid-November, really for them to get cranking.
And we cannot suggest where to start?
No.
That's unfortunate.
It's to the contractor to
No,
schedule
that's
the
a
meeting
blessing.
methods.
Because I'd have seven people trying to do that.
I just see poor LaSalle Street on there. It's not even my district, but people complain about it constantly.
Trust me, it's the worst street in New Iberia.
It's coming.
It is.
It really is.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's coming.
And I get complaints
Yes,
all the
ma'am.
time.
Oh, me too. Any other questions or comments?
No, just, quick comment.
Yes, sir.
Local contractors, so, those investment dollars are gonna turn over more in our city and our community.
That's true.
Hometown guys.
That's true. Good. Well, then if there's no other comments, questions, please vote your machines. It's exciting. More roads and more to come.
Thank you.
Thank you. 5C.
Resolution number 22-202, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Realtors Association of Acadiana relating to the Placemaker Grant Award received by the association.
Do you have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion, Councilman Marlon Lewis, and a second, Councilman Dustin Swear. Is there any discussion on this item? And we kind of had it. Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you very much. 5D.
Resolution number 22-203, a resolution in support of a grant application to the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries through the Sport Fish Restoration Wallet Program for assistance in implementation of the construction of boat slips, a boating access project for Felicity's Landing Phase 2.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed, and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Is there any discussion on this item?
So this is gonna be the second phase of Felicity's Landing.
Yeah, that would finish it up if we're lucky enough to get it. We don't have to have it, but we saw a funding source and thought we'd give it one more shot.
Okay,
Kind of the last piece of the bayou, for now. We have a
Right.
lot of stuff coming under construction, but since we could, it was about time to, put it in. So we put in for this one as kind of that last piece.
okay, that's awesome.
Any other discussion? Then please vote your machines. Thank you very much. We also find that when you get a relationship with those funding agents, if they keep giving you money, they kind of keep giving you money.
That's great.
So we'll give it a
When's it gonna
shot.
be announced, you know?
Now we put in for the application and then it's a process. So, months. 5E.
Resolution number 22-204, accepting change order number 1 for the Louisiana Pepperplex Sports Field Lighting Project and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
Do you have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte, second by Councilwoman Deidre Ledbetter. Is there any discussion on this change order? Councilwoman Deidre Johnson-Reed? I'm just picking on her because she always hits me on the change order. And really, one's gonna almost wash
Actually-
the other one out.
I'm good, David. Don't even pay for any mind. No, I read through it. I didn't have any questions on it.
I
It's
know.
$1,200.
I'm just picking. Is there any discussion on
It'd
it?
been 12,000, we'd probably be up
Oh,
there for
yes,
about
ma'am.
30 minutes.
20 minutes. What's this, just explain to us. I'd like you to tell us what,
Yeah, not a problem.
give me the
So,
story.
This is for the sports field lighting for the soccer and the baseball fields. We have a panel upgrade that's required. There's a component on the panel that the lighting system's requiring. And so we're trying to head off actually a big price jump on this panel. They got a few more days before the price increases. So we're able to kind of get the price where we need it. And then there's a credit as well. We just worked with the contractor, found another way to run some wiring, save some distance. So we got a credit on that to
Excellent.
help offset it. Yeah.
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 Cool. Any questions or comments? Then please vote your machines. Thank you very much. Now we have 5F.
Resolution number 22-205, accepting change order number 1 for the Louisiana Pepperplex Concessions and Restroom Building Project and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and a second by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Tell us about this one.
All right, so this one deals with part of the construction of the artificial turf fields. We're doing a lot of preparatory work in order to get those. There's a lot of concrete actually under these fields, and so we're doing some little chain walls under the existing fencing to help retain that new artificial turf system. And the bottom rails of the fences are a little lower than we need, so we need to raise them up some. It's about $165 a field for someone to go and raise it up, so it's kind of part of the equation to get it done. And once they get that done, they can pour the concrete and kind of keep moving forward. So we're at that part of the project where we're digging things up and just making a lot of discoveries.
Literally.
Between that, the sprinkler system, it's just all these things that have been kind of buried or just haven't been used in a while, and we're discovering them now. So hopefully it's not a lot of major things. They are working on the building pad too. That's all new construction, so that's shouldn't be a lot of discovery on that part. But they're making some good progress.
Questions, comments?
Where's those gold shovels?
I bought the shovels on Friday, and I put the first coat of paint on them, just on the heads. The handle's yellow, that's good enough, but the bottom will be gold. Figured I'd finish spraying them this week, and then I was gonna check everybody's schedule, and it's a little late, but we'll have them for next time. So I bought 10 of them, so Dave can have one too. So I'm figuring that in the next couple of weeks, but I'm working on it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Anything else? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. And I'll tell you one quick thing. Dave is very hands-on. He and I are at one of the meetings, and then the electrical contractor says, boy, I got to bore, and I have to go around the soccer fields, because that's what the engineer said to do. And then we went to David, and David says, well, the sprinkler lines are only like 2 foot deep. Well, then we'll just bore under that, and that's how we got the credit. But, having somebody who's hands-on, who's like, hey, let me get into the meat and potatoes of it, that's why these things work. So I think we'll just continue to, as much as we can do that, but it's a good project. It's exciting to see that we finally started and it's going underway, but unfortunately, you can probably expect some more issues, but because it's an old park and so many things were done with volunteers that I don't think anybody knows. Some of that's not recorded. It's like dads went out there,
Limited drawings on the project.
just did whatever, but it's a fun project. Thank you, man.
All right, no problem.
All right, 5G.
Resolution number 22-206, amending the fee schedule associated with the cost for production of copies in response to public records requests.
Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and Councilman Dustin Swear. This is going to be a good discussion. What we did is put a little chart together that's at your place that shows our fees. What we're trying to do is make sure that we're uniform with this and we're fair with this. So we have if you come and look, and people do, if you come and sit down and look at our records and come over here and you go through the public records request process and you just want to look at it, well, there's no charge to look at it. If we make you copies, paper copies, it's $1 a copy. If we fax something, it's $1 a copy. If you want it electronically, it's $25 a disc because we got to download, and that's employee time and the disc time. If we email some existing electronic records, there's not a charge at this time because it does still take employee time. It does still, and some people are crazy. Some people do records requests every day. Some people never stop. It's ridiculous that, it's their right to ask the questions. I'm not knocking it. It's cool, but it's not the press or anything. Like, I see other communities and they get mad at the press when they do a public records. I want the transparency. That don't bother me at all. But you do get individuals from time to time that they abuse us. So you got to keep track of it and at least try to get your employees' time back, because I have a whole lot of other things for Laney to be working on besides, some random public records request that is not, we don't even know sometimes what they're going to do with the information. And it's from people around the country. They want to know what's on my calendar. They want to know just the craziest stuff, but it takes time for somebody to put that together. It's not really local people that are the ones that ask all kind of crazy stuff. And each side of a copy is considered one page. So this is just to make sure that we are uniform, that we're fair, and that everybody knows our rules. Because we actually had somebody do a public records request for our public records rules. It's never ending. So any discussion on this?
I'm sure it's because of all what's going on in Lafayette right now.
It's been going on ever since I'm sure it was there before. I never was the mayor before. It was learn on the job. From the day I got here, it's been a lot of crazy stuff.
Right. But it's been in the news recently.
Yes. Oh, I agree with that. I read the papers and see it too,
Yeah.
But the national stuff and the people that are just have a cause or whatever, there's just a lot of people that seem to do that. They just blanket every community. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we see a lot of people just fishing. A lot of
Yeah,
news
that's a good way to put
services,
it.
Just fishing for stuff.
Yeah.
One thing that we really shouldn't do is we shouldn't scan things and email them when they're not already scanned. I mean, I think we're obligated to give people access to what we have. We're not obligated to compile things or to do research for them or to put in electronic format things that aren't in electronic format. So I think we open the doors, but we're not there to convert records to PDFs and send them out free. We're not gonna do that. I think it's reasonable, if we can send it out with a click on a computer, I think it's reasonable to do that. Now, we may revisit that. And the Mayor Pro Tem called me this morning and he said, what's going on in Lafayette? Well, Lafayette, there's a lawsuit that's by a couple media outlets against the city parish president. And that has to do with his wanting to charge $1 a page for electronic records, which we're not doing at this point. So we'll see how that comes out. But I think he's poking the bear there. He's trying to send a message and all that. We don't want to do that.
I don't
We
really.
just want to do our job.
I don't care. I
and
just
move
want,
on.
that's exactly right. I just don't want to tie up my people too long so they can be serving the people who live here. And I don't care what you look at. It's all transparent. That's why I got a camera in here. So, I mean, it doesn't bother me. I'm not, trying to say that public records requests don't have a place. I just,
And I buy public records all the time from courthouses.
Yeah.
And I pay more than this. And to download them, I pay per page, even though they're already in electronic format and the clerk of court's not getting his printer used or his copier used or anything like that, but I'm still paying more than $1 a page. So I think this is reasonable. And, we just want it to be across the board. We've had a lot of requests where people want things on a CD, and that's fine. We charge them for the CD and we send it out to them. That's okay. And, I've gone down to the shipping place to ship stuff off to folks. We're really trying hard to comply with the law.
yeah.
Just quick question. Since most of these requests are not coming from the citizens of New Iberia, can we say that if you are a citizen of New Iberia, you don't have to pay some of these fees?
I think I need to be consistent with everybody. I think I could run into trouble if I'm not.
Okay.
I kind of think if we do it, plus, like I said, it does take, I'm not trying to make any money, but it does take time. In
No,
other words,
agreed.
even though we're not compiling information for them, I mean, Laney spends their days that Laney has other things to do. And it was the same with Aaron. It was the same with Maxine before, that, I'll go in there and say, where's this, where's that? I mean, I'm trying to roll, and it's like, come back later, I got all these public records requests. There are times that my day stops. There are times that Hillary has to help, Amber has to help. So you can end up with my whole staff doing nothing but public records requests sometimes, and it just kind of really messes around the day. So I don't mind doing it, but I think we should just be consistent with that $1 a page.
Okay.
There's some exceptions, but I think we're just gonna get into the weeds if we start making exceptions for this group or that group,
Yeah.
or these people. They're just, I
Yeah.
think we ought to do it across the board in a very fair way.
That's what we're trying to do. Anybody else? No? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you. Now watch tomorrow, I'm gonna have 59 of them. And we'll just deal with them. 6A.
Introduction of ordinance number 2022-22, an ordinance declaring certain New Iberia Police Department vehicles as surplus and further authorizing the sale of same to the City of St. Martinville Police Department or any other police department at a cost not less than $20,000 per vehicle in accordance with state law, and setting for public hearing on October 18th, 2022.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Marlon Lewis, and the second was close. I'm not sure who got it. I don't know.
Give it to Dustin, it's fine,
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilman Dustin.
anytime.
Thank you very much. Is there any questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you. 6B.
Introduction of special ordinance number 2022-2023-01, budget adoption ordinance, an ordinance adopting the budget for the City of New Iberia for the fiscal year ending October 31st, 2023, which has been set for public hearing on October 4th, 2022.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and a second by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Any discussion on this item?
Well, we kind of had our discussion when we had our meeting.
Yeah, I wanted
Just
to
so
bring.
the public knows.
I was exactly gonna do the same thing
Yeah.
of, I didn't want anybody to think we passing the budget in like 2 minutes, but we had budget meetings, we had time, we had big discussions, and, you know, very productive. So, anybody else? None? Then, I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you very much. And that included some employee raises, that included, some giant sewer projects, that included some drainage projects. It's a good budget. I mean, it's gonna, continue to keep us moving forward.
Touch a bunch of lives.
Yep, yep. All right, property standards. Hello, Jimmy.
Hey, good
You want me to read it or no?
7A.
Revisit the state of buildings located at 318 Week Street, District 5 in action. Resolution number 22-207.
Okay, do I have a motion? Get that out the way. Have a motion by Councilwoman DeeDee
second.
Johnson-Reed and a second by Councilwoman DeeDee Ledbetter. All right, Jimmy, tell us what we're doing. Tell us about what we're doing, not what we're doing.
What? She's here?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Hey,
Hello,
good
how you
evening.
doing,
How are
everyone?
you? Please
I just-
introduce yourself.
We did send a letter. Oh, my gosh. And it came back unclaimed.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Why is that?
they delivered it on three different occasions, but it came back unclaimed.
We also sent it ordinary mail, though.
But I got it.
That's for this one.
We sent it ordinary mail, too.
Yeah. We sent it regular mail and certified mail.
I got the regular mail, but I didn't get the registered one. He just sent me a registered one, but on something else.
That was something else,
Yeah, but I got that one though.
Okay, I've got a few pictures of the property and
Yeah, that's
my
before.
inspection report.
Yeah, that's before.
Before when?
That
That's
was last
before.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I
we've been
took
working
those
on it.
pictures
I got the
last
guys up here.
Tuesday.
Yeah, that's.
So the last time we met,
Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed.
sorry.
It's your district. Go, I'm picking on you.
Okay, so the last time we talked,
Yes,
we had, at some point, we had sent your notice to the wrong address.
yes, ma'am.
And then we corrected that.
Yes,
We had sent you another notice. But then, at some point, you and I talked,
Yes, ma'am.
and you were out of town. You asked me to give you an extension.
Yes, ma'am.
To not be at the beginning of September, and so we are, end of August, I can't remember the exact date. But then we did a motion, I asked for the people here to vote on giving you an extension
I
to
appreciate
this
that.
meeting. And so now we're here.
Yes, ma'am.
And so one of the things that you and I talked about, I told you, is that we had to have significant improvements because
Yes,
of how
ma'am.
long we've been dealing with this.
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, we were gonna have to take a different action.
Yes, ma'am.
So if this is last Tuesday, I'm not sure how much work was done between
They've
last
been
Tuesday and
working on
Tuesday.
it. They've been working, if you'd like to hear from them or.
Do you have
receive
pictures?
Yes, ma'am.
Almost said it after. You may approach it, but I don't want to take it up. It's all good.
And I can give you the other one before.
All right, so we're gonna have to,
We did
I
the
kinda
one.
moved it, I think I moved it to the wrong place.
We're gonna have to
Okay.
trust DeeDee.
You gonna pass it around?
Can you pass this around so each council person can see the difference? We'll stop right here, yeah.
That's before. We did the roof, we did the side, we did the front, we closed the windows. They did all that.
Okay.
Just the rain
Improvements to
was
this house.
holding.
We should get
And it goes down.
I lost it. Turned too far.
Jeff, is this like,
I mean, this
is
is
this,
public record
is
now,
this,
you can't
yeah,
do this.
how do we make that
Can't
be
do that.
part of public record, Jeff?
Okay.
I mean, this is some new Iberia stuff here. I love my town. No,
I looked at
but
it.
what we do now?
Now that the council looked at it, we gotta have copies.
But the paint is gonna be at the end.
No,
The mayor, actually, you need to take a look at this.
I wanna
I will.
hear the question first. I wanna look at it, but I wanna hear the answer to
No, I
the
think-
question
I
about
think-
it being
Yeah,
public
let me see.
record.
Yeah, I don't know.
we can look at it, right?
I think
And
you can look at it.
Yes, let me
I don't
see.
think it's, no, I don't think it's public record.
Okay.
but-
Right, it's not public, but we can look at it to make a decision.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then, and then we need to hear.
We just never had this happen before. This is,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
I mean, I'm like, if you're saying you've
Hey.
done work between now,
No.
last Tuesday and
I
today,
understand. No, it's
7
not-
days.
It's not you. I just think
Yeah.
it's, I think
No,
it's
we're trying
fun.
to be fair.
Yeah.
I am trying to be fair.
And this
But I think
is,
if Mr. Landry has gone to the property
That's
recently,
Last Tuesday
after
was
the,
a,
have you gone since that
I
work
can
was
see,
done?
thank you. Thank
See,
you.
that's what I'm getting at. I don't, you know. Let's see real quick.
We good. I think the mayor
You
wants.
need to show the mayor. And the mayor pro tem, both of them. Mr. Hogan, are you working on this property with her? Can you come up, please?
Must have gone the wrong way.
Okay, we might as well just stir it up.
completely out. We have to get it.
So, how much work have you, how long have you been working on it?
I think I started Tuesday of last week.
Okay, and so how much work have you completed? I mean, compared,
just-
we know that the house is in a,
Yeah,
But
we taking
what percentage of work do you think is done?
like 10%, 15%. Just, I started on Tuesday, we're doing one section at a time because of the budget. So, the house is savable because I didn't deal with some worse than this already. That's all I can say, but it's gonna take a while.
What do you mean by a while? I
Well,
mean,
it depends on the funds.
okay,
On the funds that she have. And the time that I have to spend on it. Because I started another project also, so I'm gonna be there for a couple weeks.
so how much have you spent of your budget? I mean, I know we gave you a permit for
3,200.
3,200. How much of that have you put into the house already?
Yeah, $2,000.
Okay. So we know that the permit to finish this house is good. I mean, does she have to apply for a new permit anytime soon?
When she gets to 3,200, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hogan.
Okay.
Is the,
Hey, Jeff.
if I can, is the house secure? I mean, are the windows, doors, and everything like that?
Some of the windows are still broken. Flip through the pictures.
Mr. Hogan, did you guys fix any windows?
No windows. We,
Back door is open, the back windows half boarded.
We boarded the back door. We put a board on the back door and the back window, but we're gonna demolish the back area. Right now, we're taking the cypress wood and we put it to the front. That's what they did from the back building.
Yeah.
We took it out and we put it on the front completely to cover it.
you got to picture the part that she's gonna demolish, the back part that she's gonna demolish? She said she's gonna demolish the back part.
that's the, that part where that door is hanging across the floor. That's the part she's talking about.
Can you
No,
keep going, Lainey?
Keep going.
Oh, the other way? Yeah, the other way, there you go. Right there,
No,
right
that
there.
one,
That right
Right
there. That back part right there.
They're gonna demolish all of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the martial arts.
Do I need a permit for that, to demolish it? Mr. Jim?
Yeah, we need to permit what's going on at the house. But that's the thing, I only got a permit for $3,200, how much is the rest of this gonna cost?
What's your estimate, Mr. Hogan?
But I had never estimated what was the next step, or next
So you
phase
just,
of it.
They
I don't
piecemealing
know.
it.
so you just
I just
gave an estimate for what she asked you to do for
asked me to
today?
do, right.
And what, so you did the roof?
Okay.
Yeah, in the front, where the valley was leaking at, we replaced that.
The whole house, like,
We fixed that valley,
And they rebuilt the front wall.
we built
That's
the
about it.
front wall, and we, all the rotted, 2x6s and slats and all that stuff was replaced. So you got new structure all around there.
That's on the
Okay.
roof? On the roof?
Yeah, on the.
Just on the front.
Just the front part.
the front.
Show me that part, that's the part where it was open at?
Go,
No,
Yeah, because
One
that's the
more.
underneath, wasn't it?
keep going. Okay.
Right there,
You see
right?
to the left side? All the way to the left. You got the gable in the front?
Yeah,
To the left of that.
okay.
At one side, they did that
Yeah.
partial roof
They did a partial roof. They completed that partial roof.
on that one side.
Yeah,
Okay.
completed.
Yes.
You saw it, Jimmy?
Driving by, I didn't do any inspections or anything. I haven't been called.
And we completed the whole, gable right there. all
Y'all
the way up.
closed that in?
Yeah. all
Yeah,
that
that was on the picture she just showed.
Get to you.
Like I said, I just got on the project Tuesday.
We did the whole side, because that's all we did, because the tree wasn't there.
Okay.
So we did that.
Justin, you had your hand?
As far as my financial.
Okay, first off, this is my district. This is Dee Dee's district.
Right.
But at the same time, I believe, no disrespect to you, you're the contractor, you're doing what she's asking you to do. But if we go ahead and give them, so it's got a partial roof that's fixed, and we go ahead and we give them more time, or whatever we decide based on what you request, how much longer is that? So what I'm trying to say is it's gonna sit like this for another 6 months or more until she goes back to Jimmy and tries to get another permit. So we'll be dealing with this for a very long time. That's my only opinion. We're gonna keep dealing with this because it's just partial job being done on it, partial work.
Like I
And it
said,
doesn't make it safe and secure being that it's just partial roof or partial windows. So if you kinda understand where I'm going with
That's
that.
the only leak wasn't there. There is a lot of it does not need to be fixed.
One at a time. You finished?
I'm done. I just wanted to state that, cause
I
we're gonna
understand.
keep, we're gonna keep.
What I would suggest, yeah, she know her budget, somebody should give her some guidelines on what she should do now, next, till she gets a permit, to make it secure. What you wanna do, then I can give her a quote, a bid on that part.
All right, you still have a floor.
Jimmy has done that multiple times.
Oh, I don't know, I'm just stepping in.
Right.
Yeah.
He's done that. He's done that in front of the council. He's done that in front of us. He's answered those questions multiple times. So this is not our first rodeo with this property. So
No, not that one.
that's all I have to say. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, you had your hand up.
Well, I was pointing towards Jeff's comment, safe and secure.
There you go.
I mean, I'm always on the side of safety and security as opposed to beauty, because we always talk about ugly meets cold. So
That's it.
we should never forget that, and she should always consider that when doing this. So my thing is, the progress should be towards safety and security for now, with the intent of beautifying, because truthfully, you're not gonna impress this council with fixing a part of it, and we saying, oh, that's beautiful, but it's still not safe. So my thing is, I'm pushing for you to work on getting it safe and secure. I don't wanna see you lose your house, not me. I'll say that in front of each and every one of y'all. I don't wanna see nobody lose their house, their property. I see your heart. We've dealt with people, and if you go back to the public records, every house that I've voted or made a motion to amend, it was because they refused to make it safe and secure. I did not get up here and look at how ugly it looked, or it wasn't painted. You know, honestly, again, it's not my district. I see some improvements. Let me be real, I see improvements, they're just not in the right place. So what is the right place? The right place is safety and security. You know, we've got too many houses in Iberia Parish, in the city of New Iberia, that is not pretty, but they're safe and secure, and we're not going after them. And so my thing is, safety, security, ugly meets cold. We either stick to that, or we throw it out the window. Because if we don't, it looks like we're targeting these people.
Right.
I'm gonna be straight up honest with y'all, and I don't wanna be a part of that.
Right.
I got
Well said.
can I say something?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Since she have a new contractor, I'm gonna be working on it. Would you give her grace? Because she have a new contractor step in. Because I don't know who she had before. I just stepped in on Tuesday. And I got this for her, what she wanted. and I'm hearing y'all.
Well, so, just so you know, Mr. Hogan, it's me, Dee.
Okay.
He was looking around like I was out there. So, just so you know.
I don't know.
And just in the defense of the council, you're probably the third or fourth contractor that's come in here. Okay, so that's why the reaction is the way it is, because we've kind of been here several times before. But here's my district, and I need to make a recommendation. And so, based on the fact that she's only spent like $2,000 of her $3,200 permit, here's what I would suggest. I'll be honest with you, when I first saw those pictures, I was coming in here and I was gonna lead the charge to demolish your house because it didn't seem like there was any improvement from the last time we talked. And I'm the one who asked for them to give you grace, and then I felt like you hadn't come through for us. You have made some improvement. My thing would be, with that last $1,200 that you have available on your permit, you need to do exactly what Councilman Lewis said, make it safe and secure.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if not, we're gonna have to demolish this house, because this has been going on for quite some time.
Yes.
But you have done some improvement. I know Mr. Hogan, and I know that he is a reputable person, and I know that he will do the right thing. But this can't continue on. I mean, this has gotta be where this thing is boarded up so that no one could go in it,
Yes.
and that the community is safe, and that there's nothing that's gonna cave in on somebody.
Yes, and there is no leak at all, because that's the only leak, that's why.
But it's not just a leak. I
I
mean,
know, no, what I'm saying, we did that, and about the windows, the glass, I'm waiting until the end, I can board it right now, but I wait until the end because they keep breaking it.
okay, but then they need to be, they have to be boarded up, because safe and secure is what we're looking for. Again, we're not trying to demolish everybody's houses, that's not our goal.
Yes, ma'am,
But we're trying to improve the community, and we're trying to make sure it's safe and secure.
yes, ma'am, absolutely, I will make sure of that, definitely.
Okay, so, oh, go
Yeah,
ahead,
I
I'm
think we
sorry.
had a few more comments.
Okay, I'm
if you don't
sorry.
mind, 'cause the Mayor Pro Tem.
I just had a question.
I know, I think, Marlo, I think we've been asking for this facility to be safe and secure since its inception. And to me, it still hasn't achieved the goals that we wanted. And the further we get into it, the more permits that we issue, we doing these people injustice by knowing what's ultimately gonna happen by this council if they don't make it safe and secure. So I think, the line needs to be drawn in the sand sooner or later. And to me, there's no improvements being made since the last time, other than a few boards on the windows. But Councilman Reed wants to move on and try to get safe. I can support on that. But
Because I don't want a house to get
Hold
torn
on a
down.
minute, I got to. But one time you made a comment that you said if it ain't done next time, we're gonna have to draw the line. So I'd appreciate that if they don't make it safe and secure next time. I agree with Marlo. We gotta move, just like you
Well,
said.
I mean, like I said, I had come in here and I was prepared to vote to demolish the house, so recommend we demolish the house because I had not seen the improvements based on the pictures that I got. However, she's come in, she's shown what it made some improvements. I actually know Mr. Hogan,
Good.
and I have a lot of faith in him, and I think if he says he's gonna do certain things to help her, he will.
Okay.
Now, the thing is that $1,200, and if I tell them, okay, if I recommend we say we're gonna revisit on whatever the next date is, it's gotta be safe and secure, because if not safe and secure,
Yes,
then we're gonna have
God forbid, yes,
a problem.
yes.
I'm sorry, Ms. Ledbetter.
Councilwoman Libby.
I just wanted to ask, what do you plan to do with the house? Are you just gonna leave it boarded up? Is
No.
is that just gonna be it? 'Cause,
See, the thing is, like for almost 4 months, you probably know, I told you, I lost my job, and that's why kind of financially put me in the back. And I have custody of my 2 grandkids, that's kind of also hold me. And I have a mental, daughter she live in my house, and everything, I have to take care of her, bills and everything. That put me way in the back. And I lost my job, that's really killed me. And every penny that I have, I put in the house, because I don't want the house to be demolished. And I'm trying so hard. And I promise you'll see it. One day you're gonna say, oh my God, we voted on that house and look how it came out. But I will take care of it, I promise you that.
are you going to live in the house or are you planning to rent the house?
I think I promised my son with it, But if not, we're gonna see. I'm gonna give it to my son definitely, because he made me proud in every way, and that's my goal to give.
So you wanna fix it up
Yes,
so your son can live in it,
either he can live in it or.
rent it or whatever?
Whatever he
But you
do.
wanna
That's
make
my
it
gift.
livable.
Definitely, oh God, yes, yes. And I
Okay.
got the kitchen, I got everything for it. Unfortunately, most of the stuff got stolen, you know, the wood and everything, so we have to buy it all over again. That's why kind of also put me in the back. But definitely, I want to make it definitely livable. Inside, it's beautiful, very beautiful. I mean, hardly need anything inside, you know. It just, the outside, it looks like that, but once we're done with it, we paint it, I'll fix, all the window, nothing wrong with them, except some of them, like 2 windows on this side, just broken. And the other side, 2 windows, you know, it's not like
You had your hand?
all of them, no,
okay.
just some of them.
Just making sure. Yeah, I was making sure who was next. Yes, sir.
Look, I'm trying to keep it fair, and no disrespect, no offense, but I think that's an unfair question. Because if we're making it safe and secure, then we ride around New Iberia, District 2 specifically, then we have to bring in every single landlord and owner and ask them, what are you gonna do with your house that's safe and secure?
No, that wasn't my question.
I mean, we're
The
shooting for safe
long-term
and
plan.
security, but still, it's regardless. I know 15 land homeowners that I would like to bring in front of this council and ask them, what are you gonna do with your homes? It's boarded up, it's safe and secure. Are you gonna rent it? Are you gonna give it to your child? Are you gonna do this? Are you gonna do that? We need to bring every one of them in front here and ask them the same question.
That wasn't necessarily the point of my asking that.
Well, maybe I took it wrong, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to respond to let her know that according to being safe and secure, she doesn't have to answer that. If we want it safe and secure, and I feel like I'm her lawyer, but I'm not. If she wants it safe and secure, if we want it safe and secure, she doesn't have to answer what she's gonna do with her home. I don't think that's fair, and I don't wanna be a part of that. We allowing some people to get away with some things, and other people, we're putting extra pressure on them. I just don't think it's fair. And then I think, another thing, I think we misled these people from the beginning as to what we wanted them to do with their home. If we'd have been preaching safe and secure from the very beginning, we could have tell them get a permit to make it safe and secure.
And that's not what we did.
And we didn't do that.
That's-
I've been
that's
sitting
correct.
up here paying attention. I don't have a record in my pocket, but I got one in my heart. And I know what I heard, and I know how it feels when I don't hear the same thing for the same people every time.
No, that's correct. We did not make that clear.
So our attorney has his hand up.
Clear everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, boarding it up doesn't necessarily mean it's safe and secure.
Okay, we need to
okay?
define safe
I
and
mean,
secure, right? Do
we
that
got
for
some
me.
code violations that are dangerous.
Okay,
You know, so we go beyond just securing the envelope of the property. But my question was, if we're gonna allow more time, we at least have to have that.
okay.
We at least have to keep people out. So, my question was, do we have open doors? Do we have open windows? Do we have people who could go in and out of there? You know, long-term, if it's got enough code violations and they're serious enough, it doesn't matter how much you board it up, it's still a dangerous structure. But I'm just saying, if we're gonna give her more time, we at least need to get the envelope of the house secured so that we don't have people in it. And then, you know, my suggestion is we have a definite time, bring this back for a revisit, if we're gonna do that. And then, you know, have the owner agree that, yes, she'll show up on that date, and then on that date, Mr. Landry would go by right before the meeting, if he can, to get the latest on what's been done and not done, and, you know, we bring it up again. But it's a legislative decision for y'all, not for me.
Yes, sir.
You ready?
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
Okay, so I am going to recommend that we go with option 3, which is owner order to repair and to go to a revisit.
How long?
Okay, how long,
Yeah.
time frame?
So what's the normal amount of time do we give them to revisit? What's our next? I mean, normally y'all could give me a revisit date. We
Yeah.
don't have any more?
Oh, yeah, we can do
Wait.
whatever. We'll do
Well, how many
30.
days you looking at?
Yeah, in other words, you wanna do 30 days?
60?
I wouldn't drag it on too long, because I would like to see progress, and
Okay,
and
so-
everybody would, so revisit in 30 days.
Well, I was gonna say, we can revisit in 30 days, because what we're asking is for you to board it so that nobody can get in it. So that means the windows have to be secure and the door has to be secure. So as long as those things are done, is there anything I'm missing?
Fix that in the pictures.
If we make sure those things are done, that no one can get in that house except for you and your contractor.
I was just about to say that, everybody except the carpenter.
No, that's,
He needs
of
to be able
course,
to get in.
Marlon. Yeah, between you and your contractor can get in there and do your work, but nobody else, like somebody walking down the street can't just go push the door open and go in the house and see what's going on.
Yes. I put it
All right.
on trespassing, they took it off. I don't know who did.
Okay, but seriously, I mean, you gotta board it, and today is September 20th.
The 18th of October would be 28 days.
Okay, so you got 28 days to get it secure,
Hang on.
okay?
I
By
mean, she's
Gotta
making
get
her.
notices out, we need
Yeah.
more than 28 days?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with,
November the 1st.
what's the dates for our meetings in November?
November the 1st.
November
That's
1st.
the next one.
Okay, hold on one second.
And the Mayor Pro Tem has a comment before we close
So
out.
Dee Dee,
Okay.
About 42 days.
So,
And Jeff Simon has.
I mean, is that enough time to get all the notices out, 42 days?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we go with November 1st.
so Dee Dee, I
Yes.
would like to add, before we get into something like we start tonight with pictures on the phone, I would like our city inspector to bring his opinion back if this structure is safe and secure, and so the council don't have to make that determination.
So,
The
in
city
42
inspector-
days?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I want Jimmy to come back and say, is it safe and secure, and not for us to make a determination.
Absolutely. I guess the only thing that I would say is that we definitely need clarification on what safe and secure is, because I think we all have maybe a slightly different idea of what that means. I mean, when I think safe and secure, I'm thinking boarding windows, people can't get in. Jeff said something about
Yeah,
there are
but if
other
the
code
roof-
The
The roof can collapse because there's no structure.
That's why I want
If you
Jimmy-
got
Right.
termite damage, if you got rot damage, if you got foundation damage, that's enough. You could still have a structure that could fall over. It doesn't matter that you boarded up the windows and the doors, but you know, when.
So
five-
what are we asking her to do between
Well-
now and the next?
That back section is rotten. That back, where the plywood's down the side in the back, that roof is shot.
Yeah, that's the one I thought we wanna demolish. We
That's
take
the
the
one
wood
y'all gonna
from there,
demolish?
put it in.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay, so 42 days?
Then after that, you got all those walls that are open. You got a bunch of openings, doors and stuff that are in that area. All that needs to be secured. If they demolish that back end, all those walls need to be secured. Now, you got a spot in the back, the roof, you can see where the water's coming through because it's leaking. The ceiling is peeling off. It's damaged wood. That's all damaged.
That's the one we wanna
There's
demolish.
areas in there where there's floor missing. You're down to the floor joist. All that has to be repaired.
Okay, but.
Because the floor joists are part of the structure. Safe, somebody walks in there and hurts themselves on that floor, because the floor is gone. They fall on a floor joist that's missing, plywood's missing, all of that. So
Cement.
there's no
Okay.
cement back
Well,
there.
let me ask you a question.
Shouldn't be in that or.
Well, I was gonna say, but we're saying nobody can get in there but her and her contractor, so is that an issue if it's just the two of them?
But that's the thing, they have a lot to board up on that when they take that other end down.
Okay, so maybe we need to go with November 15th date, because we're asking them to do a lot. So that's our second meeting in the month of November. But here's the thing, do you guys understand what we're saying that would need to be done in order for this to meet the requirements that we are setting tonight?
But, yeah, now you'll just give a budget of $1,200 left, all right?
That's the thing, with $1,200, you're probably looking at just demolishing the back end.
Yeah, the money
Yeah.
stops the train.
Okay,
stops.
so
But you gotta get new permits.
she has to get a new permit,
Permit for the demolish.
Yes.
New Permit for the demolish.
yeah.
Correct.
Because you can use the $1,200 to board it up, but you need the permit to go and get that back section demolished. And I don't know what that's gonna cost, you'll have to give an estimate, so do
Right.
you guys get the permit?
The permit to demolish, board it up. He's telling you what you need to do.
Yeah,
Y'all pay attention. I'm gonna fight only so long. I'm gonna fight. He's telling you what you need to do.
Yeah.
Get your permit to demolish, board it up, keep it safe, come back to us and we'll make a decision.
Once we demolish.
Once we get the boards up, nobody can get in. I don't think nobody walking on no floors, no plywood. But that's supposed to be in there, you screwed up.
Exactly. So if it's just the two of you, or you and your crew,
Yeah, my crew.
I'm assuming y'all know how to walk on floorboards or
Right,
joints,
right.
whatever they call it,
Right, right.
to get that fixed. No, okay, but then that's on her, right? Because she better have insurance to, they sue her.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Okay.
private property issues.
Right. So I guess my thing is that, listen, we don't want to demolish your house, but we need you to make those improvements. So let's get to safe and secure by November 15th, which means the back end, according to Mr. Landry, the back end is full of termites or whatever, it's no good. You gotta take that down, you gotta demolish that, and you gotta make sure all the windows and doors are boarded.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There only will be just one door for the kitchen.
Sold.
with the
Okay.
water.
Yes, you have a comment? Yes, sir.
Okay, so Jimmy,
Trying to get his
being that this is your profession, do you believe that $1,200 is gonna make it safe and secure? Your professional opinion, please.
If they boarded according to our rules, our boarding regulations, no.
Okay.
So, where do you get a copy of the boarding regulations?
It's in the ordinance, it's in the city codes.
So how would he know?
I can get it to him.
Okay. All right, and so if it's gonna be more than $1,200, then you gotta come back and get a permit. And that's not hard to do, right? You guys have done this before?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Everybody's good with the directions we're giving them, because this is what we expect them to follow. So November 15th, when we have this conversation again, because we're gonna revisit you on November 15th. No more excuses. Mr. Hogan, no heart attacks, no broken leg, no nothing.
I ain't never had that before.
Right, so we have a motion on the floor.
A motion on the floor to give the owner more time to repair and to revisit on November 15th.
Okay, do I have a second on the
Second.
motion? I have a second?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte, any further discussion? Then, please vote your machines. Sold. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I was like, we got to get that one done. Thank y'all, good discussion though. 7B,
Acknowledge that the buildings or structures located at 515 Dade Street, District 2, have been demolished and the debris cleared from this property. Resolution number 22-208.
he brought his whole crew. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion.
Second, sorry.
Motion by, Councilman Marlon Lewis and a second by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed. Well, it's your
That's
district.
my district. Talk to
sir.
Blake, he got it done. Thank y'all. He told me to tell y'all, thank y'all for being patient with him. And done deal,
Good.
progress.
Awesome.
Wish
That's
we
what
had
we
more
want.
Blakes in the community,
Yeah, no, that's a winner.
but then I wish we had more builders too.
We need a diploma or
Oh,
something.
we need something. I keep saying that. We need some kind of award when people take care of that stuff and do what they need to do.
Throw a proclamation every time
Something,
somebody.
yeah, I'm telling you. All right, so we remove it?
Yep,
We done?
yep.
So we vote on this, right?
Do we vote to remove it?
Yeah.
I think we should. You want a motion to vote to
That's
remove
what we
it?
usually do.
Motion.
Okay, do I have a second on that
Second.
motion? It was like, I think it was, Councilman Dustin Swear. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote your machines to remove it.
Thank you, Blake Delcom.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much. Good job. All right, 7C.
Acknowledge that the buildings or structures located at 811 Edna Street, District 5, have been demolished and the debris cleared from this property. Resolution number 22-209.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilman Marlon Lewis and Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed.
Yes, look at it. It's
Okay.
great.
Another winner,
Oh,
Yep.
I even took the tree
Yep.
another winner.
that had fallen down.
I mean, I know the neighbors over there are very happy about that.
Well, that's why we do
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
So,
Thank you.
do I have a motion to remove?
Hey,
Motion to
This
remove.
was a surprise.
Second.
That one was a surprise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jeff actually called me one day, he had been by there, and he said, the house is gone. I said, what?
Yep.
The house is
So a
gone.
motion by Councilwoman
Hey.
DeeDee Johnson-Reed and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Any other discussion? Well,
No, I
vote your
think
machine.
we made the motions already, but that's okay.
Well, we made the motion.
To,
Take it off the list, huh?
To acknowledge it.
The other one.
No, because now we made a motion to remove.
Remove
okay,
it.
remove it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
from the
we had
list.
to- we had to do it twice.
Thank you. I just wanted to beat
Nothing
Dita to
further?
the punch on him in our district.
Please vote your machines. Yeah, but sometimes you gotta be wrong to beat it. But good try. Somebody gotta get her. All right, item 8. She's
Kevin,
always right. She's always like, can't do this, can't do that.
Kevin Zarang
And I
to
appreciate it.
present budget to actual reports for November 1st, 2021 to August 31st, 2022. Kevin.
Kevin? Like you just sitting
Yeah.
there. Is it coming?
Sorry about that, but I was working on the budget.
Yeah. He was on eBay.
I found that truck for you.
That was a good one. That was a good shot.
No, I hadn't pulled it up yet because I was working on some adjustment numbers. So before I do, I want to do as we did last time, and since we're close,
Yes.
now instead of going line by line, I don't answer any questions.
Yeah, everybody will look and we'll just see what looks out of line. Because we are coming to the end.
Thank goodness.
For the revenues and permits, and that's good. I mean,
Yes.
that revenue looks good.
I spoke to Jimmy about that, and the main plus, or the shot in the arm, was the permit for school days apartments.
Okay,
It was the big,
that's great.
And the other thing is,
project.
last week, I had a contractor come in and bought a $5,000 or $6,000 permit to replace air conditioning units at one of the apartment complexes.
Awesome.
I got a call today, they changing all the hot water tanks at the same apartment, so that permit's gonna be coming the end of this week or the beginning.
That's
of
great.
Next week.
That's awesome.
which to me is a sign of more people.
No.
other different
Iberia, I think it's Iberia South
Okay.
on Adrian Street.
That's great.
Any questions?
So, yeah, so why are our transfers expenditures, they're a little higher than what they should be, but not much. Never mind. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm
Well-
sorry, these numbers keep popping in
well,
my mind. I can't.
No, I have an answer for that. There's
Okay.
one of the transfers, instead of doing it, it's, lately how we did a transfer to Pepperplex, so instead of doing it 1/12 every month, I just went ahead and did the whole thing.
Okay,
You know, examples, that's an example.
Yeah.
Some of them, since we're so close, I just went ahead and did it all at once.
okay, all right, that makes sense. Okay.
So Kevin, just a quick question, like, for instance, like Parks and Rec, we in the 10th month period, we got 2 months left, she's at, they at 68. Do they anticipate to hit that 100% expenditures, or?
That is due to capital outlay, and Freddie and I have spoken with them, and in the last this month, we've seen a lot of motion. But that is the same thing with Public Works. It's big capital outlay projects that we had put into the budget that is holding up, and Parks is a big one that Freddie has been speaking with them to get them done.
That to
Are we-
move, and then,
It's a good number, but just what,
Yeah, I know.
we anticipate a big
But-
spike in the 2 months or not.
Yeah.
And we put that money in their budget because it's supposed to go back to the community and services, so I push every year to say, let's get it spent.
That's fine.
Not being reckless with it, but that's the whole point. We're not a bank. The money's supposed to go back in services.
Right.
Joe has some match stuff coming for dredging in the bayou, and if you notice, they've been working across the bayou in the park, moving some riprap that group is coming to plant some more irises along the bank. And so in this, I try to save a lot of Joe's match stuff when I can, just to see how the year's going. And so he'll be racking up, more bills and more activity this month, and to try to get it. We have to do that prediction with our last few days to be within 5%. That's the big challenge, is to stay within 5% on all of our, areas.
So if any of the bigger projects don't get completed or started, are we gonna do a carry forward?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
definitely.
That's the only way to fix the 5%.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how we fix the 5%. But
Okay.
you have to, because we can't lose the momentum of those projects.
You get
Right.
an audit fine if you don't.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, just double checking.
Oh, yeah, no, it's good.
No, that's why I asked the 68%, that's a lot
Yeah,
of money.
that
in 2
is.
months. Yeah, 20%,
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? I think, If y'all are good, we're good. And it's not like we haven't just come off of a whole bunch of budget talk, you know? All right.
You need anything else on eBay?
No, sir. No, that's okay. Just,
On eBay,
yeah, just dogging him. All right.
Park.
Item 9.
A discussion related to tall grass in the city limits. Marlon Lewis.
Councilman Lewis.
Last but not least.
Yeah, let's have a discussion.
No, actually, I just put this on the agenda. You know, first of all, grass season is coming to an end, hopefully.
Oh, we hope.
But, you know, I know
Been feeling
me
it.
and I've talked to several council members, and we basically get eaten up alive over tall grass. And I think the public, I literally asked to put this on the agenda so that for those who watch our meetings, I was hoping maybe some people come and have public comment who can so they can understand better, but that's okay. Grass is one of our biggest complaints. I'm sure y'all would, admit. And the rule is simple. It takes about four weeks or so just to get it to the person whose grass is high. I asked Jimmy, would he, kind of give us a breakdown for the public of what's considered high grass, why is it a nuisance, and about how long it takes before it gets, gets taken care of. And possibly why it takes so long, and, because,
well, the high grass, it attracts critters
Yes.
of all kinds. You get tree limbs down, that attracts termites. You got, why it takes so long, I take a picture. I go out, take pictures today. I send out a certified letter to that owner today. The post office is required to serve that letter. But if nobody is home, they leave a little pink card telling them they have a certified letter at the post office. Now, if they don't go get it, the post office tries to serve it 2 to 3 times. Then that's 3 weeks. So that's 3 weeks gone. Then the letter has to come back to me before I can do anything with it. That's the process. So it might be 4 weeks before I even see the letter back, and then I can process it to go cut it.
right,
Then you have to have the Public Works Department, where they at with their work,
right.
to go cut it. Now, I had Joe real quick last Friday. We've cut 222 yards. He took 10 yards and averaged the cost. It's $266.
But I don't know if he put the labor burden on it.
Well,
I'm just saying
he took that average
he
cost.
gives me prices, and I have to add all the labor burden on after retirement, insurance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
think
right,
he's
right.
adding all
No,
that,
he's
'cause
not
that-
adding,
that's a
this is
cost,
just
too.
what it cost
Okay.
him.
But that's not real
Right,
cost.
right.
Just to
No.
You gotta put the
And that's
burden in.
$59,000.
Yeah.
So
This
with
will be
the,
$100,000 by the time you
Right.
add the labor burden.
exactly.
Okay,
By the time you add everything else, that's $100,000. Now,
Yeah.
that's no tires. That's no, dumpster fees. Dumpsters, we ran out in March.
I know that. We put
So-
more money in.
That's none of that. That's none of my time. Going out, take the picture, fix the letter, send it certified mail. That's none of that. Now, we did have a spot from August to now, that it was backed up a little bit, because I didn't have the help,
Okay.
okay? But we're caught up now. We're pretty much on step with it. Public Works, they have about 50 or 60 that they're working on cutting. So that's where we at with it.
Okay.
okay. May I ask a question? Okay, in light of the expense to the city, is there not a way for us to contract this work out to some of these landscapers around here for a cheap price?
I've looked at that and looked at could I get, but they don't want to really do that. They're overgrown lots. They make more money doing people's yards. It's hard to find a contractor that would want to go just anywhere in town, not really know what's in that grass, not really
That's
know. That's the
their
problem.
equipment.
And they damage their equipment. Because I tried that early on thinking I could relieve Joe. Y'all know, and I appreciate this, we have turned Public Works into a baby construction company, and there are a lot of projects Public Works goes and does, at least parts of them. So I always look for a way to say, man, if I'm not cutting grass, if I'm not tying that manpower up, I could do something else. We could build something.
Right.
We could do something else. But the problem is, if contractors I talk to, they don't want to go in those lots that they don't know what they're going to hit. And it's overgrown. I mean, look, junk's a whole nother thing, but I have to mark what a marks a lot, every single thing that Public Works goes pick up on every time y'all turn in something for junk. And I leave a lot of things behind. Well, the same thing if you go look at these lots to cut the grass, you start walking in there and you don't know what's in there. So most contractors aren't interested in just going and doing that. That's my dilemma.
Right.
Years ago,
when was
years,
that?
And one time we did have it,
when Tim was doing it,
Yeah.
they was contracting out. And the prices were high because the contractors told him, we don't know what we're gonna find in there.
actually when,
I went to a house the other day and I nearly broke my ankle. I fell in a hole. And that's from here to
Yeah.
the counter right there off the street. So you never know what you're gonna find in those lots, especially when the grass is tall.
yeah, 'cause
And
I
I-
know that when they switched from contractors back to the city doing it, it was cheaper. Because the problem is we don't get the money either way. We lean those lots and we say we're gonna get it, but no motion happens, nothing gets sold, no taxes are paid. You know, we don't really ever get the money back. It's very rare, that we actually collect this money that we put on people. Sometimes we do, but not all the time, you know.
So if we thought more about the way that you can actually have the neighbor cut the yard and then eventually take it over as part of their property?
That's for adjudicated property, but we also play a lot of people's yard man. We get paid for that, but we actually cut a lot of people's grass that it's not adjudicated property, they just don't cut their grass.
Okay, but we can put that on their taxes, right?
That goes on their taxes.
But it feels like hundreds of properties around the city that are probably adjudicated properties. Is there not a way for us to kind of, have the neighbor cut it and say, listen, at certain XYZ time, you can take this over and you can get title to this land?
Jeff has an opinion on that because we have been talking about that.
Well, I think if you're gonna start changing the rules on possession of property and ownership changing, that's a legislative thing. I mean, the legislature's gonna have to do that. If you squat on your neighbor's property for 30 years, you own it. But cutting grass has never been enough.
Okay.
But Lafayette's doing
Exercise
something like that. What is
possession.
Lafayette doing? Because Lafayette has an ordinance like that.
Well, they probably do that for adjudicated property.
Just for adjudicated.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I mean adjudicated property. Because if we could just deal with that, how many adjudicated properties we have? What, you said 500,
Oh,
600?
We have about 580-something adjudicated properties, and every year we grab a few more, and they have to be adjudicated to us for 5 years before we can do anything with them. The ones that we are past 5 years are listed with Civic Source, because they're the only people who can clean up a title because of the chain that is so convoluted, and so then we try to sell them. We had decent luck at first because we sold all the nice low-hanging fruit, and now we really don't sell a lot of property because they're not the most desirable properties. We'd love for somebody to buy them, but we'd even do some bundle packages and, do whatever we can, but they're not selling as quickly as they were. But, so we have a lot of adjudicated property. A lot of it has houses on it. It's not just empty lots. It's a mixture of everything. We don't have a lot of commercial adjudicated, because people actually buy that and, it's an easy to flip that and make a
But
reinvestment.
that only works if somebody wants it.
Yeah, and that's what
Agreed.
I was going to say. My problem is they're not that desirable. We're,
No, but I know that, I talked to a lady the other day, and she wanted me to go out there and take a look at the property that was across the street from her house that was, grass is that high. She bought the property next to it because it used to be the problem. It was a problem there, so she bought that, and she cuts that, and she cuts the one on the side of her. That one doesn't belong to her, but she'd like to take it over. I mean, because it's something she could leave to her children. It's just that she's like, okay, I'm cutting more grass in the city. I'm like, well, not quite. But I understand what she's saying.
yeah.
I mean, and there are lots of situations, like I know in my district, there are a lot of situations where people have an empty lot next to them, that's an adjudicated, property, and they cut it. They won't cut it now because we're out there cutting it. I mean, I spent 2.5 hours today going around the city in my district,
I'm sure.
sending in pictures of grass that's too high. It's, tall grass everywhere.
Yep.
Yep. And every one of us do that.
You-
Yeah. And it's no benefit to to the neighbor to cut it. That's why a lot
Right.
of people not cutting it, because they can't acquire it. I mean, the benefit is property value and beautifying your property. You know, I tell, this older gentleman came to me, about, 3 months ago, in the heat of the summer, 2 months ago. And he said, you know, he was ranting about the property next door to his house. And I told him, because it wasn't a big strip, I said, you know, why you don't just cut it? He said, I used to, but I'm 85 right now. You know, and that's the kind of stuff that's happening. So, you know, my thing, like I said, I just wanted to get the message out that the city is doing the best they can with grass. I mean, I see where they cut one lot today, and then across the street the next week there's one
Yep.
2 times higher. You know, and
Yep.
you know, I know it's not the city's fault, but our constituents don't know. And I just thank God that this is a summer headache and not a
Yes.
year-round headache. You know, and I'm not saying that the customers are a headache, but the constituents are a headache. But man, grass, I've never thought about grass so much in my life.
I know.
You know, I'm like,
It's a 9-month-a-year problem.
yeah.
And about a 3-month break, you know, in a normal year. December, January, February, we're pretty cool. By March, we're cutting grass again.
You know, and I gotta make Jimmy say, why you didn't give me a heads up? I said, Jimmy, this is to let the public know that you're doing your job.
Oh, yeah.
And we're doing our job. You
Yeah.
know,
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Anytime we turn in the long grass complaints, because I know we all do, there's so
Yeah.
much of it.
Today.
Does the resident get charged, like not the adjudicated properties, like someone who actually lives there and they
Every-
just have not been taken
Every
care
address gets charged.
Every address gets
Like, even if
charged.
you guys don't cut it, y'all send them a letter. Because someone told me that just for you guys sending them a letter saying that their grass was turned in for being long, that they have to pay, is $75?
$75.
Okay.
That's a fine.
That's a fine.
That's a fine.
Okay.
But it has to be 12 inches. So
Yeah.
if your grass is 12 inches high, that's on you.
Yeah.
Look,
No, that's
I
exactly.
agree.
wait. I want to tell
Exactly.
you, watch. Flip through the pictures.
Look at all that.
Okay. Oh,
Look at
right
the
there.
difference.
That property is owned by a church out of Generette.
right. We talked about
We fuss about that property all the time. Churches pay no taxes.
right.
So there's no incentive for them to come and cut that grass.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause-
And if the city goes and cuts it and it's wet, we rut it, they call us and want us to fix it.
Okay,
Okay.
somehow we got to change that.
No,
Now,
he's right. We went through that, he and I. That's in my district.
Right.
that's why I went and got that picture.
Right. I appreciate
And
it.
and look, the neighbor that lives on the end calls every other month. But they don't care because it's not in their backyard. Now, the
Okay,
next
so-
picture, the next picture I took,
That was the kind
all
I
right,
like the poison.
that one right there.
I didn't get too far with it.
See that grass?
That's my district, isn't it?
That's your
No, that's your
district.
district.
No.
That's Deidre's district.
Uh,
That side of the street is her district.
probably both.
Yeah,
probably
mine's
both.
on the other side.
That lady cuts that grass every 6 weeks. When somebody calls me and tells me it's too wet for them to cut the grass, that's cut every 6 weeks.
Yep. It is.
Meaning she does a good job.
She does an excellent job.
For you say every 6, for that amount of property, 6 weeks is a good time frame.
Right.
Okay.
across
Sometimes
the
she,
street is
sometimes she
worse.
has to go 8 because it's wet, but the grass never gets over 12 inches.
Because I walked through there to go to my parents' house.
And that's the reason I took that picture. Because it's too wet, you're not taking care of your grass. That's
Exactly.
not an excuse to me.
No, they wait for when we have when they get the letter.
And then they get mad because they got to pay $75.
Right.
Exactly.
Definitely.
I mean, I was on
But some people, I
Persian.
feel like we're their yard man. I
Yeah.
just feel like they
Yeah.
just say, "Oh well, yeah, city will cut it." I guess it's cheap. I didn't think that was cheap, but some people I really believe just use this as a lawn
Yeah.
service.
Persian Street. I was on Persian, Grape, and Washington and Field Street today. It's crazy. It's
It
crazy.
is.
The grass is so out of control. I'm like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what? I was getting ready to leave to go back to get home to get changed for the meeting. I'm like, I gotta stop. I can't pass this
Now,
up.
some of those lots I just did.
But Jimmy, don't you
Jimmy,
give 'em a
that
warning?
grass
Oh,
is
yeah,
this high.
oh, yeah, some of
just
them
turned
I
them in.
just turned in.
Oh,
They-
you turned
they-
those in? Yeah, because I
They were
turned them in,
turned
yeah.
in and I just took pictures and
Okay.
they're in the process.
Don't you give them a warning before you charge them 75?
Oh, no.
No,
No, the
No, no.
75 is
If it's
the
over
warning.
12 inches,
If
you.
it's over 12
If
inches.
it's
12
over
inches.
12 inches. And I got my cone with tape on it.
Yeah.
Bottom 12 inches is orange, the next 6 is white.
Yep, I see those pictures.
I've seen them come in my office and it said, oh, my grass wasn't 12 inches. Here's the picture.
yeah. And let me say this, if you, because I know we have a lot of elderly people in our community, and some of whom which can't really cut their grass.
That's happening more and more, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, because
I'm in a really old community.
it is. But here's the kicker. I mean, those of you who live in a community, you got sons walking down the street, like just, hanging out, doing whatever they do. Have those kids go and cut those people's yard.
Yeah.
When I was
Because
growing
we
up,
know they can't afford that $75.
when I was growing up, every other day, somebody would stop at my mama's house to cut the grass. Mm-hmm. Tell me the last time y'all saw somebody pulling a lawnmower down the street.
Man, I tell you,
You don't see it anymore.
I
No,
know
'cause that was
about
my
two
brother. That's what my
kids.
brother did that was how he made money.
Yeah.
I know about 2 kids that's cutting grass, and I told them they my heroes. I'm serious. 2 little kids, about 15 years old, cutting grass, pushing lawnmowers. I'm like,
And look, I have them in every district. I have regular.
oh, and that's
lots
another thing.
in
I
every
just got to
district.
say this. They tell me it don't look like that across the bayou. So I ride. It looked like that across the bayou.
Dustin, before the meeting, Dustin.
I'm sorry,
turns-
Dustin. I hope I didn't take your thunder.
No,
He turned something in before the meeting.
I hear this same thing. No, we have the same problem in District 6 that we see all over this city.
Yep.
But the question I have, Jimmy, so for you for your judgment, so it's about a month and a half? One based on your time, from the time you get the complaint to the time it's cut. You're looking at about a month and a half?
5 weeks,
Yeah, about 5 weeks.
Okay.
like 5 weeks.
All right.
About right.
Yeah.
And that's another.
And if Joe gets
I'm sorry.
backed up,
Now-
Yeah,
it's
then we
not
can-
like the day he gets
Yeah.
it, he can go cut all of it.
Right, because I mean, Marlo, thanks for bringing it to discussion
Oh, I
because
thought it's a great discussion.
we get it all the time. Well, how long it takes? I'm not Public Works. I'm not Jimmy's office. So I really don't know. So now we here tonight telling
Yeah.
the public that hey,
Yeah, it's 5
this
to
is what
6
this is what you have to expect.
And look, let me tell you, why it's so crazy? I'm like, I need to get a lawn service, and I need to just cut all this grass in my district. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I know, it's that
I'm worried
bad.
about grass that much. I'm about to go get some
I wish I had a tractor.
tractors.
I'm serious. I wish I had a
liquid
tractor.
That's what I say. That's what the boys
You
are-
gotta,
got the
you
liquid
gotta,
stuff.
you gotta be careful. Because if the house was there and it had gas, and you still got a gas riser on that lot, you don't wanna hit that with a tractor.
Right. I know, it's just. I
Joe
mean,
know, I'm gonna tell you, Margie and Joe, they know where all the gas risers are.
They do.
They do. They do.
There's just gotta be a better solution. I mean, this takes up a lot of everybody's time. It's gotta be a better solution. I don't know what it is, but,
Grass and trash.
Cool weather.
yeah, grass and trash.
And that's why, thank you for putting it on the agenda.
Oh, no, I thought it was great.
And I told him, man, I said, listen, you can put it under all the council members. He said, well, Marlo, you thought about it. Everybody else doesn't. I said,
Yeah.
but she said something that made me say, I don't want our council reign to be defined by grass and trash.
Right.
So
Yeah.
our constituents need to know that.
Yep.
And,
You
and
know,
I
that's-
think one of the most important things that they can learn from tonight is that when we turn in a complaint on grass, it could take 5 weeks before that grass is cut.
Yeah, 5
Because
to
I have
6 weeks
people
is what I
calling
tell
me
people.
sometimes twice in the same week. Well, the grass ain't cut. I called you on Monday. I'm like, I know.
And then they
I-
hang up and they call
Turn
them
it
here.
in.
Yeah, exactly.
They,
Like they think I didn't turn it in or something.
yeah, or they
Yeah.
check on us,
Yeah.
And I hear her all day long saying, it's gonna be a few more weeks. It's gonna be, when did we turn it in? She looks it up. This is when you turned it in. It's 5 or 6 weeks. That's what we tell everybody. It's 5 or 6 weeks from when you turned it in. And they
Yeah.
don't understand how long it is. But I mean, you're going on private property in a lot of instances. It's just like when we demo a house. Look how long that takes. It's
Yep.
just like when we do the junk ordinance, the same thing. It's a long process because we're not supposed to go on private property for no reason. And if we're gonna go, we have to follow the rules or we're gonna get in trouble. So it's a process,
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Cleaning up after irresponsible people across the board is expensive and slow. You shouldn't have to do it.
Yeah. True.
You know, shouldn't have to do it, but,
That is true.
you know, whether you're talking about tires or users' properties or weeds or junk or, you know, whatever, all the way across the board. And there's no, I mean, you can't get a zero-turn radius mower on these lots, you know, it's not anything that's gonna be quick and easy.
Right.
And nobody's gonna wanna go put their equipment on that property, we've had that before.
Yeah.
It's just, no, you take care of other people's business,
Yeah.
it's messy.
Yeah. It's why we buy so many lawnmowers too. I mean, you know, they are abused when, you know, when we finish with them, I mean, they patch them back together as long as they can, but they're well used. Yes, ma'am.
Question. I see a lot of tall grass on railroad property. What's the process for that? Because they're giving us a hard time about closing crossings, but their grass on their property is always overgrown.
Yes.
Right. And we have had battles with them trying to get them to do something. It is tough. I mean,
yeah.
they act like they, you know, hey, the police chief got so aggravated because they always block Jane Street. Now, that's another subject. But lately they've been blocking Main and St. Peter, and sometimes at the same time. I mean, that's the main thoroughfare that we've got.
No, Maine, Jane, and St.
I
Peter.
know, all at the same time.
And
They
Washington.
normally weren't all at the same time, and they picked up some big contract, and so now they're hooking up so many cars, they're blocking all three at once. So he decided, I'm gonna make this stop, okay? And he's run into the railroad, you know, juggernaut that they are, and they basically just told him, you know, you can't do anything to us.
Wow.
And they feel that same way about the grass. I told him to go give the conductor a ticket. I think that'd be fun. I don't know if this is gonna work, but he's actually gone and talked to, you know, someone at the railroad company saying, you know, y'all gotta stop doing this. And it's just tough. We had tried, oh man, I'm trying to think of her name. She lived on Caroline and she'd call all the time.
Miss Bayard?
Miss Bayard.
And
Annabelle,
Miss
Miss Annabelle.
Miss Annabelle,
Annabelle.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so she
Annabelle.
called me, and you know, and when I first became the mayor, I said, "Oh, that's it. I'm taking on the railroad," and I never got too far. It's crazy the power that railroad right away has, you know. So I don't know. I'll be glad to send them letters or whatever, but it has not been easy to get them to do anything.
You know, by that little station.
By yours, is it true?
Yeah. You know, right off of, you know, by Dale.
Yes.
They put a big load of dirt some years back. They were supposedly gonna spread it, but that didn't happen. Now it's a wooded area there. On top of the dirt, you can't even see the mound of dirt anymore because there's some trees and all kinds of other
Where's-
stuff there.
where's that
At
at?
the end of Degg Street.
Oh, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
On, you know, it dead ends, and that's the
Degg.
railroad property.
Dave and Ormatar. Two streets.
Yep.
That is awful. And I think our city needs to maybe give them write them a letter about that, because that's
Can we send them an
ridiculous.
invoice? Can we cut and send them an invoice?
If we cut it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll try whatever y'all want.
I mean, I say we send them an invoice. We have to take care of your property.
Yeah.
Pass an ordinance saying that they gotta make sure it's cut, it can't be more than 12 inches on the railroad track.
I mean,
And then
you
send them a bill.
can try whatever you want. I don't know if it'll work, but we can try.
Hey,
hey, I'm ready for it.
Okay, all right. Any other discussion on our grass issues? No? Thank you for bringing this. I think it was good. All right, we'll move on to Councilman's remarks. Dustin, I'll start on your side tonight.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Well, just,
I don't have much to say, but we normally I'm always up here saying, you know, pretty much like, you know, people that be losing this community. We lost another one just recently. His name was Clint, known as Beefy Broussard. So, so they are going to do a celebration of life for him. It's going to be on Saturday, the 24th. It's going to be held at 11 a.m. It's going to be at Pellerin Funeral Home. So if anyone wants to attend, please do. Yeah, Beefy was a great guy. He did a lot for the community. He did a lot for kids.
Yep.
I mean, he was such a big soccer, basketball, you name it, Parks and Rec guy. He also did a lot with Dotson Elementary. I still remember to this day, he was always wanting to pull the floats for the children's parade, and that was some of his best moments that they loved to do throughout the year. So if you can, just say some prayers for his family and the Broussard family. So Beefy's gonna be missed. So that's all I have to say tonight.
thank you.
I gave him that nickname.
Oh, yeah?
Huh? Really?
Junior high school.
Yes,
Which
ma'am.
one he gave you?
So I just want to remind everybody, this weekend's what, Sugar Cane Festival? On Saturday is the Brown Sugar Festival.
Yep.
And so if you have time, please come out and enjoy the festivities. There's going to be some vendor booths around the Brown Sugar Festival, so come out and support these entrepreneurs. Also, on November 14th, we're going to have a meeting with some attorneys, and they're going to talk to people about succession planning and how you can get your family home out of your parents' or grandparents' name and put it in yours. And it could possibly be as cheap as $105. So hopefully we'll have a bunch of people out here for that. Last thing is that I know I've received lots of calls about the St. Matthew's Cemetery. We are working on it. We're meeting tomorrow.
Oh, I'm meeting with some people tomorrow about it too. I'll send them your way.
Okay, we're meeting tomorrow, and we are going to have a plan to get it cleaned up. And then we, hopefully, out of that meeting, we'll also have a plan for maintenance in the future. So in perpetuity, right?
That's great. That's.
So,
project.
everybody, we ask that you please be patient. We have been working on this for a long time. We got the right people at the table tomorrow, and so hopefully we're going to be able to make some headway. So thanks, everybody, for those of you who've contributed in the past to helping us keep the grass cut. Some of you sent me checks. I haven't been able to cash them, but I just want to let you know we appreciate your support, and we are going to do the right thing to make sure that those people can rest in peace in some dignity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I pass.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Just like Dee Dee said, stay safe this weekend. Got a lot of activities, and it's gonna be hot, and I'm sure downtown and the Brown Sugar Fest will be very active. So let's be diligent about our community and our citizens around us, and have a good time. Enjoy it.
Yep, I want to give my condolences to the family, Beefy family. I served with him on the Parks and Recreation Board and got to know him, man. I liked Beefy, I really did, but happy Sugarcane Festival. Be safe, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I have nothing this week.
Okay. I don't have a lot. Condolences to the Broussard family, because Beefy was a trip. Next meeting, I'll be bringing, along with everything else, I'll be bringing capital outlay so that we can look at a prioritized list. Mr. Richard Minville came today, like he always does around this time, and I get with him first, and then I bring it, because we have a lot of projects that were priority 2. We know we have funding for priority 1. Priority 2, we have to wait and see if they sell the bonds and how they go about it. That's a few more months away. So we always have to remember to be diligent to put even though we think we're gonna get the funding, to put the priority 2 projects in line, to ask for them again. And then, of course, the priority 5s, which we have quite a few, those have to be asked for again, because that's next year. And then we'll have some new projects. So not a whole lot of new ones. The new ones that we had kind of talked about was the Pepperplex and the swimming pool at Bank. That's kind of, I think the 2 big asks. So I asked Mr. Richard today and said, okay, I averaged out what we've asked for every year. We had the museum project that was 3-point-something million, but the way it worked out, the last few years, it was 1.8 this year, it was 1.6 and 1.7 last year. So those are some big asks that went to a great cause. It tells our story, but now those are off. So I averaged how much we've asked for every year, and then said, for a town our size, do you think, and I really hadn't asked him that before, you think I can increase a little bit? Do you think, it's worth the ask. I don't want to insult anybody, I don't want to be greedy, but I want to make sure that we're asking for enough. And so we kind of compared and did some comparisons, because he's very knowledgeable about that. So anyway, but I'll bring it like I always do. We're early this time, so I'll bring it to the next meeting so we can have some discussions, prioritize it so that I can send it in early. And he's going to start working on it. He told me about a road grant. He doesn't handle those anymore because they take like 3 years from the time you fool with it till you actually get it. And he's kind of concentrating on things that don't take that long. So I'm trying to find a new consultant to handle that. There's really only 3 in the state, but that would be about 1.5 million that we could get for a road project. So I'm going to start hunting, and we had used one person he suggested for a sewer grant once already. So I'm gonna call that guy because I think he does do these. But that would be a road grant he kind of put me on to today. So anyway, but capital outlay will be coming, and we'll go from there. And other than that, you gave me a whole lot of homework tonight. It's exciting, the streets, the garbage contract. I mean, we got a lot of things that we're working on and coming, and I can't thank you enough for that. Project-wise, we got 2 letters from the capital outlay this week that I can start. So I'll be bringing, the normal drill. I bring the contract, then we get the architectural contract approved, then we go through the next step, then we get approval to bid the project out, and then we wait for however long it is till we can have hit the go button and we can actually bid the project and award. We got the concurrence letter in today, so now we can proceed with the marina. Because there's all these steps, but we got a lot coming. It's an exciting time. I think this new budget, that's really got me pumped. We got a lot of stuff coming, and over the next couple of months, I'll start bringing the more social aspects of the ARPA money. I would like to get to where we have one more discussion, then we meet with the neighborhood associations that we're giving money. I'd like to have one open discussion, and then we're ready to see how we kick off one block at a time. The anti-violence, the litter program. So it's about time. I've been kind of refreshing what we've done so far. So over the next few months, I'd like to bring them over the next few months so that next year we start that. I think with the amount of, I'm having to play traffic cop, with the amount of projects we have coming and the amount of things going on, it's a lot to start at once. So I'm actually trying to calendar that. I'll be coming with a report probably early next month that updates all the projects, kind of says where we are with all of them. But what I thought I would do was get them in some kind of timeline of how we might proceed with them, because people hear us talking about stuff and then you don't hear it again, and then there's always this doubt, and that's okay. But it's always, are they really doing it, or where did that project go? I bet they moved the money. People just have, there's a long history of not maybe the most trustworthy. People have a skepticism when it comes to government. So what I want to do is really, really start talking about, here's the timeline. So that'll be coming. But anyway, thank y'all, because I think tonight was a huge deal. And with that, I need a motion to adjourn.
Well, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you think, once we kind of go over the status and everything, is that something we could publish on our website so that they
Sure.
can go and take a look at?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I kind of would like to bring the calendar, because I want y'all to have some input of, we have some opportunity to say, do this, don't do this.
Right.
And I like public. I like being transparent. There are some projects that are going to involve so much time of my staff, of myself, of our professionals, that we just need to be smart at how we stage what.
Right, and then we just, for the things that actually going to take, that might require a little more, we can star them and put a little note at the bottom, so as people look at that, they're not like holding us, oh, it didn't happen on
Right.
October
Right.
15th.
Or that this is a long-term.
Right.
There's some of those ARPA things I think will stretch out over 2 years.
Exactly.
And I think we should be honest about it and
Yeah.
say, can't get to that all at once because of
Right.
all these other things.
Exactly,
So,
it's going to be phased in,
right.
yeah.
Cool.
Okay,
All right, well, motion to adjourn?
motion.
Thank y'all.